whatever lovely audience decides to join us this heckin' early in the morning.
This is like 10:15
It's
at
me.
night for me.
Hey,
It's me. I'm the
I had
audience.
to I had to be up at I have to be up at 6 every Wednesday to do this. Okay, so like sympathize just tiny bit,
I
tiny
understand.
tiny bit.
Okay,
Okay, continue.
so now for the recap. So being serious this time. When we last left off, we had found ourselves standing 30 feet away from a night hag who was described as being something between like 8 and 9 feet tall, cloaked in shadows that we later, upon a little further investigation, uh, through the light of a produced flame, discovered was largely hair. Her face was burned, and we were left with this ominous wording where she seemed to have taken this challenge of trying to find the children before we could find her. And then, just like that, she seemingly vanished into the shadows, uh, leaving us alone in the middle of the street at night. Uh, w- we, I guess, did our best to disable the straw man's body the second time around, but didn't have a good way to dispose of it. Um, we did not return to the inn, but we investigated the alleyway where she had vanished from, and we found a clue there. Specifically, it was a uh, pendant with an engraving of some kind that tied to the second district. Core was very upset about finding it. It was a small chain link, 2-inch metal plate, a heart with a line etched into it. It marks orphanages in the second district. Um, Core has history with the second district. That's what he implied at the very least. And was not very eager about the prospect of going there and pursuing this lead, but it was still something. We talked about where we were going to go, and more specifically, how we were going to get rid of this body. Where Core suggested that we go to the sewage treatment area here, a few hours away on the other side of the sixth district, where we would go and meet with Grusk, his contact that he had established the previous session. We went through the labyrinthian sewer below, uh, following leads that were left that Core could read that were in, Cant basically, until we found a abode where there was a uh, rather just imposing lizard man down there waiting, who Core, um, was familiar with. Uh, his name is Grusk, and he helped us get rid of the body. Which he did. We talked for a bit, um, and Core asked if he would be willing to help us out with our problems. He was willing to do so, but asked that in return he would like legal residency within the city. This was this was one of our discoveries, by the way.
Mhm.
Um, However, we were in the sewer, and the other party members were unwilling to stay down here, because it's the sewer. Now, um, being very fair on the matter, Grusk was very polite, and he didn't take any issue with the fact that we didn't want to stay. Instead, Yelena recalled that there was a inn on the way to the location, and she decided that she was going to double back there. We all decided to make our way back. The rickety inn that we stayed at was still in the sixth district. It was called the Enchanted Lake, and it was run by the bartender Jesse. Um, when we got there, we didn't have any issue getting rooms in the middle of the night. Uh, I don't know if it's a surprise to Sam or not. I would assume that Dyer talked to Sam, but Estella told us that she had been visited in the middle of the night by the hag. Uh, and told her about the experience pertaining to that. That morning, we were all trying to think about what our game plan was going to be with the information that we had. We decided we were going to try to return um, to Star and Quill to get some other leads about what was kind of going on and to just check in. But before we did that, Core talked to Jesse and asked specifically about abandoned restaurants because he wanted to see if we could follow up on a lead with Hatner. This produced something, and we were able to follow up on that lead on the way out, where we went through a restaurant, one of I believe 5 that we could have investigated. This one happened to be one of the ones that was really out of the way. It was only 15 minutes out of the way, so we figured we would take a look at that. We investigated the restaurant and found that Hatner had in fact been staying here. And while we were also there, sure enough, uh, we found another straw man.
Oh god.
Core had speculated previously that there might be multiple of them, and his speculation proved to be right. We got into another fight against one, and we took it out at the edge of an alleyway. At this point, in kind of broad daylight, where Nero, without really thinking too much about it, started walking up to the body, and he just started hacking it apart, uh, like 15, 20 feet away from a busy street. While we were all kind of like busy, like just talking to each other about, like, wow, that was pretty intense. Yolita, are you okay? You got hit pretty badly back there. What is your brother doing? Oh no. This is where we got introduced to another member of the Cloaks by the name of Gallo, who had been informed that, some psychopath with a great sword was, you know, maybe murdering someone. This was a setback, in case you were wondering, Sam.
Oh my
So
god.
we were able to talk our way out of the situation here. Gallo um, talked to us and didn't seem to be very thrilled about the situation here. She kind of had a bit of a standoffish demeanor here, very no nonsense and kind of to the point here. Didn't really care too much about kind of what was going on here, so long as there wasn't a problem. Uh, but did seem to take issue with the fact that the other cloaks were, involved with this type of stuff and seemed to be willing to keep an ear out at the very least, to see if anything was going on. After being told about, the missing orphans and the hags and all the other nonsense and what exactly was going on here with the fight that had broken out. Cor was a bit rude to Nero, berating him openly. And we were able to go back into the location and finish investigating. Cor found some money. We haven't divvied that out yet, but I've recorded it. Somebody had hidden away a pretty nice nest egg, and we actually made use of the dogs, which we had almost
4
completely
sessions
forgotten
in.
about. Yeah, 4 sessions in. We were able to bring them to another building, like a 3-story abandoned location. I don't remember exactly what the building used to be. It looked like
Apartments.
it was. Yeah, I was about to say. I think it was an apartment complex, judging from like what we were doing.
Mhm.
Kind of had like honestly had kind of reminded me of like a Silent Hill area, to be perfectly honest, and just the way kind of it felt like laid out. But uh, we went in, and the area, as it would turn out, was chock filled with traps. After a skill challenge that we were able to get through mostly unscathed, Core almost ended up with very severe acid burns, in case you were wondering why his HP is currently at 1.
Oh.
So we his his resolve HP, not his actual HP total. Otherwise, his face would be literally he would look like one of those creatures from The Thing, trying to like assimilate someone, like a necromorph or something. I don't know. Anyway, we accomplished the skill challenge where we found another goal. Hatner was here. There were implications that Hatner had been attacked in his dreams based on the notes that he had left behind. He may have been in the building up until recently. We really don't know. But there was like an escape way out onto the street here. He might have been staying with the other children. He had been drinking some really, really strong coffee, and we discovered that he had drawings of a second hag,
Oh God.
which was pretty much the fast track to confirming that, three makes a coven, and a coven is really bad news. We had speculated that there was going to be a coven to begin with, but now this is looking more and more grim. But we've been kind of left on this note of, well, if this 14-year-old child is capable of eluding not one but two hags through what is best described as Home Alone style traps that look to be pretty nasty, to be honest. Then we can probably get some measure of success here against them at the very least.
Right.
We left the session heading back onto the street, continuing our pursuit here. We had the body of the second straw man in a bedroll. We have made sure that this one is also not going to get up, hopefully. And I suspect that we're going to have issues trying to transport this thing back to the first district. When we arrive there, our goals are to check in with our mutual benefactors, and then possibly go to the second district to follow the lead of what we found. This is kind of where we've left off. It's still plenty of daylight left. I think it's maybe about 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock game time.
It's
maybe?
actually still about 9.
Oh, wow. Okay, it's even earlier than that. So we still have lots of time left.
About
in
6
case you were
hours of
wondering,
daylight.
yeah, and in case you were wondering, the money that Core found was 15 gold pieces, 32 silver pieces, and 23 copper pieces.
Nice.
Yeah, I just have that as a a bag here, and that's pretty much where we left off. Dyer did a pretty good job of writing your character, but you had some of the most abysmal scorching ray damage rolls I have ever seen in my life.
Sorry.
How dare you know?
Yeah,
At least they were hitting.
I did.
At least-
I did roll pretty poorly.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
I
think the average was a 2.
The only other thing that I forgot to mention is Core took notes about the runes that were on the straw man. The second one seems to have been made from what appears to be a dwarf. No one here seems to recognize what it is, but the implication that there's more of these things out there is a pretty terrifying one. And that is where we are.
Quick question.
Mm-hmm.
For HP, it's whatever you roll, right?
So you are required to roll, but if you roll a 1 or a 2, you will take the average.
Okay. I rolled a 6. Neat.
Well,
I just need to-
awesome.
I don't think I actually roll for HP.
I just wanted to make sure before I rolled.
Hang on, double checking my own rules that I still don't have memorized yet. Give me a second.
Yeah.
Because I just realized you guys hit an ASI. I think this actually is a double dice roll for both resolve and HP.
I actually came into the room like afterwards and did my actual hit dice.
What is the actual hit dice? Is it the same exact HP as before? I don't think I actually rolled anything for that. I don't think I have my actual HP recorded somewhere here. I should though.
You really should.
I thought I had it here somewhere on my sheet. I
That's fine.
apologize.
Let me let me get the document up so we can clarify. That's what I get for prototyping this on a group, not all of my groups.
Here I am to ask the big boy questions. Haha.
Resolve. Okay. Let's see. Yeah. So your resolve does increase at 4. So there we go. No, your resolve, your HP increases at 4. So yeah. So for your normal level up, as always, because resolve is HP, you would resolve your hit. You would roll your hit dice plus your con mod.
Mhm.
So that's normal. But you guys are 4th level, which means your HP increases. So you'll roll the hit dice, add your con mod, and your strength mod.
Oh, okay. So con mod and strength mod at 4th level.
Yeah, I think we agreed that if there's a penalty on the strength mod, then don't add that.
Yeah, it's to a minimum of 0.
Got it. So that's the added benefit to level 4.
Average is 5, or is it 4?
That's fine.
Okay.
The high average.
All right. So that's 6. And is it just max for the What is the actual starting?
Starting,
HP?
it's max. Yeah. So starting HP, it's max hit dice plus con mod plus strength mod to a minimum of 0.
Okay, so my
and
actual
then,
HP
and then anytime your HP goes up, it's like that except you roll the dice.
Okay, so my actual HP is 15.
Pretty good.
Okay.
So then I get plus 12 to my HP. That's pretty spacey
Pretty
for a
spacey.
sorcerer.
Yep.
Plus 12. So, oh! That was 1 plus too many times. 41.
Oh, you're at 41, Sam?
Yeah.
Holy shit. I am at... I don't know if I've included my level up health, or my con health yet or not. It's my own fault.
Hang on, I'm doing some math real quick. So like I said, just because new system, I'm just going to roll over with everybody again, making sure everyone has their resolve pool and their hit point pool. Because for the system to work, it's really important that we have both of them established.
Mm-hmm.
So I am going to go down the line. I'm going to ask people for their resolve, because I also have a cheat sheet that I like to keep updated. So I'm going to get all that information from you guys directly, so I can kind of do both things at once. Open up my cheat sheet because I forgot. Okay. You guys. Okay. I'm gonna start at the bottom. Yelena, what is your current resolve?
36.
36. And your current HP?
20. My con went up this level.
Snap. That is the chunk. Okay. Habanero. Resolve.
Alright, Haba's resolve. Hold on, I just need to roll a d8 real quick for this level.
Mm-hmm. Okay. 5.
Right, so that's 5 plus 3, and then so it would be 19.
Your resolve?
Yes.
Weird.
Wait, do we not add con to our result?
No, you do. You do. That's,
Yeah, I have a 16 con, or for just Haba.
Yeah, that seems 19 seems too low. Is actually my problem.
Really?
Especially since I
'Cause-
already have on my cheat sheet. I have 22 for you already.
Are you adding
Really?
+6 to it from your modifier?
I feel like
I am.
somewhere I feel like you took a step backwards. If only
Yeah,
because I mean, so characters are level 4. Maximum starting hit dice is an 8. 8 plus 3 is 11. Do you have? A
Oh no, I'm sorry. I was thinking of like actual HP pool,
No.
not resolve.
Resolve.
That's my bad.
Resolve.
Okay, that is my bad. So it's actually in that case, it's just a flat 30.
That sounds better. With resolve being 19.
Mm-hmm.
And narrow? Resolve?
Narrow's resolve is. Hold on, give me 1 second.
I
His
forgot to
resolve
make a resolve
is. Can you tell me what you have at the moment? Just because I think
34.
I might have like 34. Okay,
30.
so that's what I thought. Just making sure. I need to add. I wasn't sure if like I had at least added like the level up bonus because I also took the con ASI or not. So that's I was still kind of a little funky on that. Okay, so all right, he rolled a 8 for his HP. So 8 plus 4 is 12, but then there's also the 3 other levels. So 12 plus, sorry. All right, so it should be plus 15, so that should put him at 49.
Right, because you took it. You got the con bump, right?
Yep, I took a
So
con bump.
34 plus 12 is 46 plus. Yep, 49.
Okay, cool.
Real chunky boy.
Yeah.
The chonkiest of boys.
Someone's got to be a tank.
Okay.
All right, and then his actual HP. Let me go and roll it. Separate dice for that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you don't have his HP pool already, it would be D10. So it's the first level is 10 plus strength plus con mod.
So would that retroactively increase with the con increases as well, or no?
Yes.
Okay. So then it would be
Same for strength increases.
17 base now.
Okay. Ooh, real chunky boy.
Oh, geez. And then plus 8 to that.
Okay.
Rolled a little low on that. It's okay.
It's 25. Okay. Still
Not
pretty
bad.
good. You've got a big.
Yeah.
You've got a big pool. Big pool. Core.
Core has a resolve pool of 28 hit points, and his actual HP pool is 15.
Okay. The least
Core
chunky
is,
of boys.
+1 con.
Right. Yeah. I mean, actually, with only +1 con, that's not terrible. And last but certainly not least, Stella.
Okay,
Resolve.
so I just realized the reason I have such high HP is because I don't have a resolve pool documented. So
Well, we can do that.
all I have is all of my HP rolls, like in general.
Okay, that's fine. This is very easy to remedy. So, yeah. So your normal HP is going to be your resolve. So what is that?
I have no idea.
Okay. Well,
Okay, our resolve is just the level 1 and level 4 thing, right?
no, that's your HP.
Okay.
It's the other way around. So resolve is normal HP. So the thing you roll for every level, that's resolve.
Mm-hmm.
And then hit points are the ones you roll at ASIs.
Okay. I did not roll anything for the ASIs then.
Okay. So
Because I think
so
what I did was I just added +2 strength to the first level and fourth level.
okay. So in which case, from your total HP, we're going to subtract 1 strength score, 1 modifier. Because you're not supposed to add it at 4. That's to the HP pool, not to the resolve pool. So if we subtract 2 from your current number, what does it put you
38.
30.
I mean, hold on. 139.
39.
Sorry.
That's still, wow, really good. Okay, and then to get your HP, your first level is going to be a maximum hit dice, so 6 plus con mod plus strength mod.
Okay, got it.
And then for the fourth level, for the ASI at 4, you're going to roll a d6 and then add strength mod plus con.
Okay. So do you want me to just put the roll of 6 into the HP pool, or do you want me to roll another one for that one?
You roll. All the subsequent ones you roll for.
Okay. Let's see.
Let's see if your luck rolling d6s is better than mine.
I'll just make this my resolve HP pool then. And take away the 2 for 4th level. And then I will fix my HP pool here in a second then. Because it's a lot easier to do it that way than to do it the other way. It is.
Okay, wow. Your luck is way better than mine. Okay. So if the first level was 6 plus con mod plus strength mod, because you rolled a 6 again, you're now doubling what you basically.
Pretty much. Okay, so
Sam? Anybody?
hello?
Okay,
Hello.
there we go.
Okay, so for resolve HP, basically at first level was max plus con plus strength. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, hold on. Let me see what my con is again. It's a
I think you
4.
think, but yeah, I think you are also a very chunky girl.
Yes. Okay. I'm just writing the regular HP pool so that I have everything right here. 1 plus strength. If I can get my act together.
No, it's fine. This is part of D&D. Whether if people find it fun to watch or not, this is just part of how this works.
And
I
then
like some
again
crunch
at
to it.
4th level because
Yeah, there
This is
are HP increases at every level up, which you happen to roll a 6, so you basically just have another max die, which is great.
and then again 6 plus 4, which is con.
Plus strength, which I think for you is a
Yep, plus 2, which is my strength mod. And this is at 4th level. So the total for this HP is 12 and 12, which is 24.
yeah, that checks out. Woof.
Okay, so my HP pool is at 24, and then my resolve is at a chunky 39.
For a Sork, that is scary. Especially since the person who is supposed to be the air quotes tank, you're competitive with him. And he's got a way bigger hit dice.
Yeah, I'm getting up there, you know.
Chunk.
So should I be displaying my resolve pool where HP should be then?
Yes.
Okay, just triple checking that so I know.
Yep.
Okay,
And
I put
and if I could edit the character sheets, I would, but I can't.
I just have my actual HP like listed in the temp HP part.
Mm-hmm.
I have it put as a resource beneath my number of crossbow bolts.
Ooh, I could use that
you
as
could
a
also
resource.
you could also add it to your token. You can change one of the set values if you guys like. Given I always do just default things on the tokens, but they're not required to stick like that. I do movement speed, AC, and HP. But because HP, you could do AC, HP, and then resolve, and that would work too.
All right, so I think
Entirely
I'll
up
put
to
my
you.
think
I'm
I'll
gonna
put
put
H-
actual HP in my green, just because.
I was putting HP in my green at the start, and then I noticed that the speed on my sheet was changing to 20 or to like 10 or whatever every time I did it.
Oh, yes,
Because they're linked.
Oh,
yeah, I can unlink that. Oops.
Okay, so now I put mine in the resources. I think that'll be easier for me to calculate. And then my current HP is my resolve, so 39.
So basically, if anyone wants me to remove any values from their tokens, just let me know. I can do it. I have unbound your green. When.
Thank you.
I would also appreciate that, just so I can stick it in there.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah, like I
it's
said,
30
I'll just unbind everyone's green. Movement speed is super not as relevant, given that
Yeah.
most everyone's is the same with the exception of Short Boy.
You're short.
Got him.
You're wrecked, nerd.
Congratulations, you're one of the only two players I've had actually play a small raid.
It's me. I did it.
He did it.
I did it.
Here's your slightly smaller than average trophy.
Wow, I can't believe that we're accommodating me in such meaningful ways. Does that mean my problems are also going to be small? Are they going to be small, Dyer? No?
No, you rolled a 1. Your problems will never be small.
That's a small number.
Alright, there it is. Now my green has my HP pool. And now I have them both there so I can calculate them. Awesome. I am Tonky, my god.
What's your resolve pool?
At 24.
Reverse that.
Not your HP, your resolve.
HP is 24.
Oh, 39. Resolve.
Ooh, pretty good.
And then HP is 24.
Nice.
One is the loneliest number.
Oh, it's gonna be stuck
And you said we didn't get a long rest, right?
There was one at the beginning of the session, which I recovered all of your spell slots for. And then you guys fought the straw man, in which I used some of your spell slots.
Okay, awesome. Just wanted to make sure.
But it basically just means like a lot of the stuff you got on level up isn't usable, really.
Yeah, it was fine.
Yeah.
Well, my cantrip is, just not my spell.
Yeah. I mean, and you know the +2 bonus to whatever you added.
Yeah.
Because I mean, that's good stuff. Anyway, so hey, how about we play some actual Dungeons and Dragons? Yeah.
What?
Math.
Nah.
I like spreadsheets though.
Ew. I don't.
Same time next week.
Anyway. And we're done. No, I'm kidding. Okay, so just doubling back real fast on everything that Core caught us up on. You guys are basically just on the bottom floor of this abandoned apartment building where you were tracking Hatner through his happy funtime maze of deadly traps. Having found evidence that he was there, but no longer, and leaving, uncertain of your next destination. And that's basically what you guys were sort of at. We're in this dusty first floor lobby, trying to figure out where on earth you were going.
I believe that when we first came in here, we saw like a trap door on the bottom floor.
On the stairs?
It was like an entrance, a secret entrance kind of thing, behind one of the desks or something.
Yeah, there was another entranceway down there on the first floor. That
I mean,
was
there was another door. I don't remember any secret trap door.
I don't think it was a secret door. I think it was literally just we were being misdirected, and it was leading upstairs. We could go back downstairs and investigate that door if you want.
Well, it's on the ground floor anyway. I assume we're not jumping out the window again.
No, not
given that the rope was cut. I don't think you are.
Oh yeah, that's right. We found that.
Yeah, you could use your own rope. You could be so bold.
Yeah, we found that book, that magical book that Core actually couldn't break into, along in that first house.
The thing too.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that we found like something strange. That's also something that Quill could take a look at.
And okay, well, there you are in the dusty lobby, surrounded by moderately nice furniture that has been left here. Whenever someone's going to come back and claim this building, Are you going to investigate the door? Are you going to leave? What is the plan of attack?
Trying to be thorough. Core is a little shaky at the moment from everything that's happened. Once again, he dealt with that acid. It looks like he hasn't really like fully recovered from the potential impact of that. So I guess being on the ground floor, kind of fast traveling back there, circumventing all the traps that were along the way by just going through the way we did.
Yep.
Core looks at everybody here and says, "All right, let's do it right the first time. I don't want to mess up." He'll investigate the door just to make sure that it's not trapped.
Sure thing. Investigation check.
Is Yelena helping him out like the previous times?
Yes.
Okay. An 18 is a pretty good roll that we will sit on.
That is a pretty good roll. You diligently check the door for traps, looking for tripwires or mechanisms or anything out of the ordinary, and you identify none.
I don't see anything, but that doesn't mean there ain't nothing there. All right. Those kids are pretty crafty. Get ready for the door to explode, and Core's gonna open it.
Okay. You open the door?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Some reason my brain heard a different sentence, but I was just clarifying. Right. You open the door. When you turn the handle, your hand gets pricked with something. I need you to roll a con save.
Oh no.
Unfortunately, Hattner had a couple of very good trap DCs.
Mm-hmm.
And again, transparency, I've been rolling them as you guys have been coming across the traps, and they've been setting how hard they are to detect. He's done very well. This was a natural 17. The good news is you succeed. You feel something jab the side of into one of your side of your hand into one of your fingers as you turn the handle. You recoil instantly, and that's when you can see that there is a needle that has ejected itself out of the lock, the keyhole, and it just stabs you in the side of the hand, and you can tell that other than glistening with a tiny little pinprick of your own blood, there is something on the needle itself. Your head kind of just has a moment where you get completely dizzied and you sway in place, but you manage to just swallow really hard, and the feeling kind of subsides after a moment. You suffer no ill effects.
There are no ill effects?
There are no ill effects.
Okay. Because Core looks like he's actually going to double over from that for like a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Like, insincerity.
Mm-hmm.
Who's like directly behind him?
I'd assume Yelena, because Yelena was helping you.
Yeah.
He like loses balance and like falls back into you.
Just gonna, like, grab you and just hold you up by the shoulders.
Of course, just kind of like looking at his hand and like looking at like the trick of blood, and then like looks at the door and just like scowls very deeply.
She's gonna kind of bleed down a little bit and just say, "You need to pull yourself together." Super motivational healing word.
Core just like looks directly up at you, and he doesn't say anything here. And judging from probably the lack of expression on Yelena's face, he just lets it roll off his shoulders and just moves back over the door, pulling a cloth from his person. He just wipes it off his hand, wipes the blood off his hands, does his best to kind of wipe the door to make sure he's not leaving blood behind, and just once again proceeds to try to open it, being mindful of what's been put into place this time.
Mm-hmm. Yes, a bit more gingerly. This trap is actually very easy to bypass once you know it exists, which is literally just kind of opening the knob from the top and not allowing your hand to be within range of the danger. And you can do so, and the door swings open. And there is a utilities closet that's about 10 feet long, 5 feet across. But on the far side of it, there is a manhole cover with sewer access. I mean, and also shelves and old cleaning supplies that were particularly interesting.
What are the cleaning supplies?
Nothing extraordinary. You sort of parse through things. There are several old brooms and mops, several buckets. There are a couple of feather dusters hanging up. Everything is covered in just like a light layer of dust and cobwebs. And on one of the shelves, there's a stack of 4 bars of soap. And that's it. Everything else looks like it was taken.
Okay. Does the manhole cover look closed?
It does.
Core looks at this and, ever ready, pulls out a crowbar.
Okay.
And he just says, Nero,
Hmm. Yeah.
I need you to do something.
What's that?
We ought to wedge this open. Take a look, I guess.
You want
I
me
can't
to
be
do that?
expected to do everything here.
Yeah. Okay.
He says, looking a little green around the edges.
Yeah, I'll take the crowbar and try and open it.
All right.
Now, if the manhole cover tries to eat you, don't worry about it. We got you. And he's just gonna like pat you on the leg.
If you say so. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Uh-huh.
All right, so Nero, make an athletics check at advantage because of the crowbar.
All right. Ooh,
Don't break it. I need it back.
that's pretty good.
As expected from a boy who likes to do some manual labor, especially with the help of aid of a crowbar, with a little bit of leverage and a bit of elbow grease, you manage to pop the lid off with relative ease. As usual, large, heavy metal disc that just kind of lands slightly upright, leaning against the wall. And wafting up from there is a lovely aroma of city sewer.
Oh, that's lovely.
Welcome to the gutter.
I feel like you've
What
been
was that
waiting to
accent
say
you
that.
just did?
Alright, well. Job's done. Now, I don't think I'm a slouch. But Hatner is really giving me a run for my money. That or, you know, I might be the biggest screw up the slums I've ever coughed out. I'm not really quite sure at this point. We could go down there, but you were complaining about before about fighting the straw man in the muck. I don't even want to know. what he might have down there. If it's gassy enough, he might just blow us to Kingdom Come. You get it, right? You could do it if you want. I don't even really know where this goes. Maybe I'll recognize something. Up to you.
Are there any signs that he actually came down here?
Core just sighs, and he's gonna take a look. I'm gonna investigate.
Okay.
Alright, well, if your blue eyes are helping me look, sure.
They are.
Thank you for the clarity.
Good to know now.
Good to know now that the result's been revealed. Yeah, Core starts digging for any sign that he might have come through here.
Okay. No, you tentatively kind of dip your head in, looking at this entryway into the sewer, the ladder that descends down into the the cylindrical shaped sewer system, the river of muck running through it with what little ambient light you have. You can tell based on the rungs of the ladder that someone does use it relatively frequently, because you can tell there are places where people have been climbing frequently enough that have worn through some of the dirt in places, making it a bit cleaner. That is very obvious. As for recent signs of passing, there is less evidence.
Can I pinpoint how long it's probably been since someone's been through here?
You can make a follow-up survival check.
Sure.
If you're willing to get a little further into the sewer, which I guess is the question, are you willing to get a little further into the sewer?
With a light source, Core is willing to go down just a little bit. He's going to be very cautious, though. He is absolutely going to tie rope to him and make sure that it's up there as he begins descending.
Okay. Are you climbing down the ladder, or are you like Mission Impossible, and you're just kind of like lowering yourself down?
He's gonna follow the ladder here because if there's signs that they've been climbing it, like, why would you trap that along the worn areas here? Core's going to mutter can't wait to find out the Hatters raise Petey the Plague Rat and Gally the Gator down here. Set up a bunch of pets.
He's mumbling to himself as he descends into the sewer. When you get to the bottom, you can tell it takes you a moment to sort of try to find, but there are smooth soled footprints that blend in well to the muck and grime. They lead to the ladder, and there is a hanging from the side of the ladder itself at the very bottom. It was almost indistinguishable from higher up. But now that you're down, you're looking at it, there's actually a small rag that's tucked on the back side of the ladder. And looking at it, it's just covered in sewer mud. It looks like someone stops, wipes their feet, and then climbs the ladder. At the very least, checking the rag and seeing how recent some of it is, it's unpleasantly damp still. So someone's definitely been here in the last 6 hours, maybe more, maybe less. There we go. That's all I got.
Of course, I gotta start climbing back up. Being, as careful as possible.
What'd you
Easy
find
enough
down
to.
there?
A man in a red suit handing out gifts.
Did you get one
What do
for
you
us?
think I found down there?
Oh. Nothing.
Anyway.
I'm sorry.
There's a rag covered in muck. I'd say it's about 6 hours old. The dampness of it. So they've definitely been coming through here. I don't know how recent, but I have a feeling that if you can leave a note there on the door. And those kids are smart. They could probably read it. But I don't know. They probably aren't gonna trust us. We could probably get something here if we stake out, but I don't know. It's a roll of the dice either way here, and I don't really like my gambling odds at the moment here. I'm going to defer to any of you four for a decision here. I don't feel so lucky.
Well, if I was Hatner and I realized that the place I'd been staying was broken into, I probably wouldn't come back. At least not for a long time. We might be better off just going back to Quill, getting this thing checked out, and trying to come at a different angle.
I still think, you know what I'm gonna do? I got a hunch. Cora is going to pull out paper.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna pull out a quill,
Mm-hmm.
and he's gonna put something in can't.
Okay.
And he's basically going to say, friends are looking for you. Your friend is safe. Pretty much like try to reiterate, like, hey, we're on your side.
Mm-hmm.
You can trust us. You can come down to the first district, or you can wait for us. But we're looking for you. We're trying to help.
Just in a thiefy way.
Yeah, just like in a thiefy way, like
Gotcha.
a code a message within a message, basically here.
Mhm.
So if he does think that this is something here, and he's smart, which I think he is smart, that he'll be able to maybe piece together like, hey, there's more to this, and maybe it's something that these hags aren't able to replicate easily.
Mhm.
So he's going to do that.
Okay.
And we're gonna just put that on the door.
Door to the utilities closet?
Yeah, facing the manhole, basically.
Okay.
And we're gonna put the manhole back on, so it doesn't look, super suspicious.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll subtract supplies.
Nope. That's funny because that's what you just did.
Haha.
Okay. You take a note. You leave it on the door in an unusual coded way. One of the two local dialects of Thieves' Cant and Geliath. The other, which belongs to the Osworn.
Mhm.
And you exit the utility closet, slightly wiser, but still not too well informed. Also, you still have a body in tow. So, with that in mind, what is the next course of action?
Excuse me.
Bless you.
I want
I
to.
wasn't able to catch that with
God.
mute. Damn.
I think we should head back to the first district. Let the others know what we found.
That sounds like a good idea.
So, what are we gonna do about our stiff?
I'm going to take it to Quill and let him examine it.
Okay, but what are we gonna do about our stiff?
It's wrapped up well enough.
You know what? I'll let Queen do the talking.
Oh, the poor cab driver that's gonna get you guys. Okay.
Gosh.
Bless you.
That's like the 6th time I've done it. Like I've been able to mute for some of them, but like, ugh, I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. That's springtime, am I right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't know. We got frost last night, so I wouldn't really know. All right, so everything gathered. You step back out into the burgeoning daylight. Move over a block so you are closer to the main thoroughfare, and you hail a carriage. Are we going for super luxury carriage again? Or standard fare? Or cheap bus?
Core's got to push for luxury thing here. He'll pay for everyone if he has to here. We're using the money that he just found.
That's fair. That's fair. Well, given it is not difficult to hail for one, if once you know how to do it, and thanks to Estella being with you, you guys are all now kind of privy to how to get the finer things in life in terms of carriages. And on the corner, you signal, and arriving smoothly, soundlessly, is one of the aforementioned Pegasus flight carriages. The driver, dressed in a fine gray suit, a nice gray bowler, steps down off of the front, smiles very politely at all of you. Dark-skinned human, bushy brown mustache, thick eyebrows, but very warm, bright eyes. And where will you be going today?
To the first district.
Very well. If all 5 of you, 2 pets, and some luggage, yes?
Yes.
Very well. The total is going to come to 7 gold pieces. And he kind of looks at Estella and gives her a wink. Like, word is spread quickly about a deal that has been made.
He gives her a what?
A wink.
Core just forks over the money immediately.
All right. Thank you, sir. Allow me to help you load your things.
You said.
Oh. Go ahead, Sam.
You said the guy gives her a what?
A wink.
Oh, okay. She winks back.
A very jaunty wink.
Is it the same guy that I promised things to?
It isn't. But it seems like he has talked to that guy.
Oh no. What have I done? So she's basically just staring at him like,
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, your description is really noticeable.
Oh no.
When he offers to help out with loading things in, Core is going to just say, that won't be necessary, we got it.
Takes a moment. appraises the situation, and with a little bit of driver's intuition, just kind of winks again and just accepts that. He will help load the dogs instead. But once you're all loaded up, he will make sure you're all comfortable, and once you step inside to the very lush and plush interior of this carriage, with drinks and food readily available, you will, without any motion, take off. And your ride to the first district will go very smoothly in this very pleasant interior. It takes you, and actually, does someone have a note for how long I said it takes this particular carriage from 6 to 1? Because I know this is what you guys took there. Anyone happen to have an offhand note?
It was very fast.
It was
I
very
believe
fast.
you mentioned it was like
I think it was 45 minutes for what would normally be like
it was
like 3 hours.
It was like less than an hour.
Okay. You know what? We're just gonna go for a solid hour. They have there's a luxury lane of traffic, and they have access to it.
Estella, you seem to have made a reputation among them.
I wasn't trying to. I was only trying to help the one guy. She says awkwardly, scratching the back of her head.
I hope you haven't bit off more than you can chew, Queen.
I wasn't supposed to. It was just the one guy. And then she puts her head down.
I guess
You
you
only-
didn't learn your lesson from last time.
She only made one promise. Everyone else is just trying to get in on it. She doesn't owe them anything.
Yeah, I guess that's right.
Thank you, Yelena. She just looks at you with big bubbly eyes.
Horror spends most of the trip kind of looking at his prayer necklace, but also the clue that he's got, just kind of quietly contemplating.
Okay. Well, you guys have 45 minutes. Are you doing anything with it? Or are we just fast traveling back to the first?
I want to roll investigation on these two things to see if there's anything that I might have missed.
Okay, you were very vague about one of the clues. So what do you just
The one that has the second district, the chain.
Okay, so the chain and
The prayer necklace here.
the prayer beads. Okay, gotcha.
Are there like any secrets or anything like this that he might have like maybe missed? Is there like does something open up here in a way that probably shouldn't? He doesn't know. He's just trying to like he's overthinking this, and he's overthinking it really hard.
Mm-hmm.
He thinks that there's got to be something.
All right. Well, go nuts.
All right.
Make the investigation check.
Sure. We'll roll with a 9.
It really seems like you're overthinking it. You spend a good amount of time just sort of parsing over the two objects, trying to see if there's something more, either of them. You even start trying to see if there's any connections between the two of them, and everything seems very different about them. There's really nothing that stands out, other than the fact that they happen to have a little bit of, like, similar locations from where they've all kind of hailed from, even though there's no direct correlation for that otherwise. It just seems like you're reaching.
Mm-hmm. Cora is just absorbing himself in this, and is not going to really bother to socialize until we get to the location. Other people could feel free to do things here, but this is what Cora's doing.
So, Papa, Nero, how do you end up getting wrapped up in all of this again? Obviously, you knew Pops.
Mostly just Pops. If I'm being honest, I kind of just dragged Nero into this along. Yeah, I mean, someone's honestly got to keep an eye on him. Like, He's got a bit of a. He's very naive. No offense. None taken. I acknowledge I'm not the most. I go along with this kind of stuff very easily. I've got a soft spot for helping others.
That much is obvious. How did you meet Pops?
Well, honestly, I know him more so through Nero. He's the one who taught Nero how to fight. Yeah, I'm not really great with the whole magic stuff. That's more Hava's forte, but I do like to think I'm pretty good at fighting. And it's thanks to Pops for that.
You see, it's kind of like written on her face, like, as soon as you mentioned that Nero was taught by Pops how to fight, like, there's this image in her head that's kind of showing on her face of Pops wielding this giant greatsword. But she just kind of nods.
Did you also have the thought of him wielding a giant greatsword?
Yes, it seemed out of
It's
character.
True. No, it's absolutely true.
I suppose.
It's a very big sword. It hurts to get hit with it. I mean, it is dulled down, but yeah, still hurts to just get whacked with a big hunk of iron. But you learn fast.
Well, I suppose you can't judge a book by its cover.
Yeah. He's a good man, though.
She kind of looks over at Core for a moment and looks back at Nero. Don't mind him when he talks strangely. I believe sarcasm is actually his first language.
That's fair. I'm not super in tune with that. You do mock him a lot, though, Nero. I mean, yeah.
What about you, Estella?
Me?
Perhaps
Like,
this isn't the best time to
how
bring it
I
up, but
know.
you mentioned that you were a slave.
Oh, that. Gosh. Yeah. Pops kind of freed me and my friends from. She just kind of awkwardly stares into the ceiling of the cabin. She's like, from a brothel.
Sitting here in the city.
She nods her head.
Where is it?
It wasn't a good experience, but somehow halfway through being there, me and my friends found a way to hide and get away from most of the grueling work that they would put us through. And that's how Pops happened upon us. We were outside, and he just happened to see us while we were dodging work, I guess.
Is the place still running?
For now, but I'm hoping to shut it down sometime soon. I've been working on it for a while.
If you need any help with that, just let me know.
I actually think we could help each other on that. Or I could use your help with that, actually. She smiles.
She smiles back.
I guess I didn't catch it, but how did you meet Pops?
When I first got to the city, he helped me get my bearings. I didn't really know what I was doing. This place is very different from where I come from.
Where do you come from?
The south, a desert.
You lived in a desert?
Yes, the deserts of Kartur.
Oh, I've heard of that place. Why were you there?
I was born there.
I guess that should have been the obvious answer. Sorry.
It can be a harsh place to live. I decided I wanted to go somewhere else and make a new life.
Well, this is definitely a good start.
I've managed to get by here the last couple of years well enough.
Really happy to hear that, actually. Sometimes the city can swallow you up and you don't know what to do. But I never thought once you couldn't hold your own ground. You're very strong, and I admire that of you, Yelena. And she gives her a smile.
Seems a little, surprised by that, but nods. I appreciate the compliment. I think between the five of us, we'll be able to make it through whatever is thrown at us with these hags.
I agree. Oh, speaking of, never mind. We can discuss that after the session. But yes,
The what?
nothing. I was just gonna ask if there was any elaboration about the hag visiting Estella, but that should have been at the beginning of the session. I should have asked that.
Out of character, I can't really give you any details on that. I don't remember too many of them, and it wasn't on screen, so I don't know what happened with that.
Yeah, I'll have to talk to you afterwards, Sam, so we can I can tell you a bit more in depth.
Yeah, that works. That's why I was saying never mind. We could probably talk about it after session.
Mm-hmm. Also, I'm enjoying the headcanon that Estella is clearly enjoying the snacks in the carriage.
Yes, she was just about to offer Yelena one.
Meanwhile, Cora's just being edgy.
Oh, rogues.
Oh, rogues.
Yelena will take a stack and kind of lift up her veil to eat it. I don't have a
really
snack.
She just says they're chicken chips. Aren't they tasty?
Chicken chips. Oh, that's an IRL Sam snack right there.
Yeah.
Sounds great. I'm just saying.
They are very tasty. I've never had them before.
And they have what most chips don't have, a savoriness to it. Nice and salty, but not too salty. With a hint of sweetness and roasty taste. So it's really good. Look, this Amazon goddess needs food to be this tall, okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you gotta keep that body fueled.
Pretty sure if you went up on a stage and said that about those chips, they'd probably be sold out.
Yeah. Probably. Good. The good news is I don't want to do that because then I can't find them. If I can't find them, then I can't snack on them.
Actually reasonable.
Oh shoot!
Estella keeping all the best snack foods to herself.
Pretty much, yeah.
She'll sponsor the off-brand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll sponsor the off-brand so they can sell out and she can have all the better brand.
You're gonna make me come up with a snack foods company that makes these chicken chips.
Yes, please do. That'd be great.
I'll have to come up
No,
with
in
a
3
sufficiently
different
clever
flavors.
name. Takes more notes.
Chicken chips does not contain real chicken.
No, chicken chips contains real chicken.
They're actually 100% vegan.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually made out of beef.
Same quality taste. That's the same quality taste.
Some urban druid that managed to like force this plant to grow in a certain way that tastes like this.
Mm-hmm. It's funny you say
Yeah.
that, but it's not that weird. Druids can do a lot of stuff, man. Just saying.
Does anybody want to help me find a druid?
Good luck with that.
Here comes the business plan.
But that's all the small talk that Yelita's gonna initiate.
Same with Stella. I think she's going to finish up her chips now.
Kind of idly playing with fire in her hands the rest of the trip.
Towards the end of the trip, Core looks like he's just getting increasingly frustrated.
If Estella sees that she's going to be like, chicken chip?
Just kind of breaks away from what he's doing. What?
Yeah, chicken chip. She like extends her arm that probably 100% reaches him, and then she's offering the chip.
Oh, these things.
They're really good.
How do you
should try some.
how do you maintain your figure eating this crap? He says as he grabs a handful. Begins stuffing his face immediately.
She chuckles and she says, I think they call it having a fast metabolism. Also, all that walking we just did beforehand the other night, you're kidding me, right? That's like my day-to-day is walking all over the place, so I always need something to, give me some energy. She hands him the rest of the bag and opens another one.
Core just digs the pendant like into the seat just a little bit. Puts it beneath his leg so he doesn't lose track of it, and he just stops what he's doing, and he just starts eating the entire bag very, very, very quickly, as if he's like, as if it's like the last thing he's ever going to eat. As if he's just literally eating to eat.
Can the boys make an insight check to decipher the recipe of these chips? Right. Just from looking and tasting a chip.
They're made from people.
Wait a minute. Estella didn't offer you a chip yet. She will bite you.
Stealth steal a chip.
I will
boy.
smack the fucking brakes off of you.
Oh.
I mean, excuse me.
Ooh,
Sorry.
this is getting aggressive. All right.
This is how PvP is initiated.
Sight, smell, and description. Can we?
There you go.
Our first combat that is not the straw man is against
over-
ourselves.
It's over chips.
They're good chips.
Okay.
There's gonna be two bodies wrapped in that bedroll by the time we get out of here. So
all
yeah,
right.
Court just makes
real
a pig
quick,
of himself.
the boys can make a perception check.
Perception check. Can we get advantage because they're helping each other?
One of
Or
them
like
can
kind
have
of like
advantage.
discussing
Yeah.
it between the two of us.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. You could do either one roll for each or one roll with advantage.
I already said advantage at the start. I'm not gonna like game the system and say, well, actually, what did you do? Yeah, we got a 15.
It's pretty tricky without actually sampling one. But you've worked in a restaurant enough. There are a couple of things you can identify, such as the fact that based off of how loud these things crunch, it sounds like authentic fried skin. You can smell the seasonings, especially given the restaurant you work in. There are a lot of things that you. This is the reason why people are actually been very amenable to eating them. It's actually part of the trick here, and you know this being a cook. Is that there is a type of ground mushroom that they use for popular seasonings for foods that I'm essentially going to get into a little bit. There's a lot of umami flavor sprinkled onto these bad boys, and so smelling it instantly makes your mouth water. And there's a type of mushroom that is very well propagated and sort of used as a seasoning to get people interested in their food, even if it's not the best thing ever. And you can smell that along with something that's a little bit smoked and a bit of sweetness. These are basically barbecue flavored, is what we're kind of getting at. Could you reproduce them? Yeah, probably. Again, you have enough. You work in a kitchen frequently enough that has a lot of all these things. You could easily swing. Could you reproduce the exact flavor? We don't know. You'd have to try.
We'll make it better.
Is that what this whole campaign is going to amount to? It's just going to be everyone going into the snack food business.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's cooking.
You guys
It's
aren't going to
just
have.
Food Wars
You guys
now.
aren't going to have like a mansion or a castle. It's just going to be a chip factory.
I was thinking more like a food truck kind of situation, but yeah.
Well, he can have a food truck.
But you see, you've already got the
Stella's gonna
foundation
have
for
a
that,
food
though.
Dynasty.
Yeah.
That's how Estella recovers this carriage deal she's made. She converts those drivers interested into drivers for your food trucks.
Excellent.
Yeah, she does.
I don't know why I'm helping.
Then she lives in her food dynasty.
She's the queen of cuisine.
The queen of cuisine.
Okay. I gotta clean my hands of that real quick. Is there anything else that's going down in this carriage besides death threats over chicken chips?
I'm so sorry again.
No, it was very funny. Stella's very protective of her food, and that's a good character quirk.
Yeah. Anything but the food. Take the jewelry.
I can always buy more jewelry, but the food is now.
Exactly. Exactly.
I don't
Okay.
have anything else.
I don't have anything else.
Without any further ado, oh boy, you will arrive at the first district. Back on its clean streets, utilitarian architecture, and numerous peacekeepers just patrolling about. There are dozens upon dozens of people in the streets currently, as you are kind of at the highest peak of early morning business. The district is bustling. You have several stops here, I believe. What is the first one?
I imagine we're probably going to stop in front of the store.
Oh, you're going to Stars.
Yeah, going to Stars so we can talk to Quill.
Okay.
That makes the most sense, right?
Probably get rid of this body we're carrying while we're at it instead of carrying
Yeah.
it through the district.
We wanna give it to Quill, I think, because why not? Let's also scare away Star's customer base, unless this is like normal.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. You guys get dropped, on the main thoroughfare of the district, right? It's pretty common. That's where the carriages typically always offload passengers. And you have a moment when you guys are making your way over to Stars, a couple blocks over, where you're just kind of going along, just taking in the atmosphere. People are busy, people smiling and waving, and you hear hawkers off in the distance making calls for goods. And then slowly, the closer and closer you get to Stars, the more peacekeepers you think are starting to trail you guys, because you're now starting to get some like unusually kind of gross dark stains seeping into this cloth you've been carrying the body in. And they're just kind of like, there's like a group of 4 of them now, and they're just sort of like whispering to each other and very obviously pointing at the thing you're carrying. Right when you sort of get nearer to the storefront.
Maybe I just want to just walk in.
Yeah, Core's just gonna ignore them. He's just gonna literally I think he'll notice maybe, and then he's just gonna literally not do anything else here. He's just gonna play it off like he's just like, oh yeah, I guess we're just bounty hunting or something.
Okay.
Just keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you get to the store. The door is currently propped open. There are a handful of people inside. You step inside. There's a nice little chime that plays from somewhere, and you see Star in the back. Well, you didn't see her initially, but then you see her bright red hair pop up from behind a shelf, and she comes very eagerly over to the front. And of course, like about partway across, she recognizes you. Welcome, everybody, back to Star's General Goods. I'm glad you could make it. I'm going to assume that you're here for Quill and you're not here to buy anything.
No, we're actually here to sell this. Core doesn't even gesture at doesn't gesture at anything when he says that.
Most intriguing.
We're here for Quill.
Yeah, that's what I thought. All right. He's in the back. He just got in, so he might be grouchy because you're interrupting the start of his work. But, all right, come on, follow me.
Where's the start of his work?
And she'll lead you to the back of the store, lift up the counter so you can go behind it, and then just sort of, Quill, you've got company again. And you just kind of hear, like, it's difficult with the heavy curtain in the way, but just some sort of mumble. That sounds dissatisfied. But once the curtain is drawn back, you see behind the crimson-robed wearing high elf who is currently sitting on his stool, a leg crossed over the other and his arms crossed on his chest with currently today what looks like a set of brass and silver armor that looks like it was partially crafted from a barrel. And it's got a bunch of intricate like tubes attached to one side running into the chest, and there's a half helmet on the counter next to it with these goggles attached on top. You have no idea what the heck it does, but it sure looks interesting. Welcome back. I'm assuming you've found something more.
You could say that.
This is one of the straw men.
Oh. Well, very good. Put it on the table, the empty table over there. And let's have a look.
I got this might make your work a little bit easier, a little bit faster. Core's gonna produce the runes that he took copies of. We came across another one of these. We couldn't really risk anything here. We had to get rid of it because it it got back up. These runes are kind of from, I guess, some type of skeleton thing inside it. I don't know. There's also this book. We think this might be Hatner's. I didn't want to fiddle around with it too hard. You really don't know what's gonna happen with magic, and thieves' tools are expensive.
Very well. You may set the book down as well. Which of these two objects would you like me to inspect first?
The straw man seems more pressing, I think.
Very well.
And we saw a hag. It appeared before us.
And leaning over the sack of parts, he just kind of undoes the knot and it falls open on the table as you begin talking. He just sort of starts parsing through the bits. So there are, in fact, hags involved.
Yes, and unfortunately, based on some notes we found that were Hatner's, there seems to be at least 2 of them.
Couldn't find Hatner, but we found signs of them. If we came across him indirectly, we didn't know. Pretty resourceful.
Hmm.
Gonna leave it at that.
Well, good news could be, bad news could be, if there are 2 hags, there might be a 3rd. There could be a 4th and 5th, in which case it could imply the presence of a coven in the city. Or there may only be 2, and their attempts to kidnap children might be an attempt to produce new children for themselves, to create their coven. Hags produce others by corrupting souls that are pure. So typically children. As he's literally holding up the decaying head of the mangled dwarf from the straw man, just kind of like looking at it, twisting it around, very unfazed by it, sets it down. Do any of you happen to have any relations to this deceased dwarf?
Would we have known that dwarf? Like, I know it's generalizing, but like, is there a possibility he would have like either worked in the restaurant or like somewhere around there?
And that's literally asking for like a needle in a haystack of needles.
I know. Yeah.
You're more than welcome to make a history check, unless you want to do. I think
I did that last session already.
Okay, I know someone did.
Yeah, I think that was that's right. Yeah, I'm remembering now.
Okay.
I was like, do I know this guy? I was like, no.
No, yeah.
Do I want to do something?
Right. Now that there isn't like a crown, the head's right there. I'll take a look at it to see if I recognize it.
Like I said, I'll either take a history check, or if someone wants to be so bold, if you with their newly minted charisma token, you're more than welcome to do that. Just
really
realize,
it.
the NPC won't be very helpful to you because he's kind of dead.
He's dead. You said history?
History.
Oh, just kidding. She did it. She did the thing. You know what? I'll roll just to see what it would have been. Close enough.
I mean, for both Yelena and Estella, even despite the mangled fashion that the face is currently in, he doesn't look familiar. there are a lot of dwarves, let alone in the city, let alone everywhere else in the world.
You
There are no
you know what?
bells.
Sure. Charisma token.
Oh boy, what a
Or it gets a
fun
little-
what a fun way to use a charisma token. Okay.
I like it. Do I get liberties with this?
There are dice rolls.
Sure.
But
let's,
you are allowed to have some liberties. I don't know what ones you want, but there are some.
I want to establish an affiliation.
Oh, that's what charisma tokens do.
Okay.
But there's the classic. I need a D100 roll to
Sure.
see what your relationship was like.
Oh, I hated that guy. Good riddance.
Yeah. No. Amiable. Not great friends. But you're aware of him. Probably, maybe spoke to him occasionally.
Core is going to recognize him. He knows him through Candace. He
Okay.
is a Oathkeeper.
Okay.
Core recognizes him because he leans in through the decay and all this other stuff. He looks at him and recognizes a tattoo behind the ear that is in the shape of an animal. I'm not really sure what would be like a appropriately themed animal for like a dwarf or something like this for this case, but he recognizes
Let's go with a tiger.
yeah, there's
Very-
a tiger.
Very tribal-esque, like tiger and like stripes motif.
Core just grimaces really hard. I'll add in an extra layer of eggs to this. He was there on that day when everything else kind of
Oh.
went to crap, and that's kind of how he sticks out in his mind.
Okay. On what side of that conflict was he on?
He came to help.
Okay.
Because everything with Core is bad.
You right. Let's kill all of
So-
Cora's friends.
Haha, you guys are next.
I shouldn't have found that funny.
Don't get close to me! Anyway.
So edgy.
So Core looks at him, and you just see his expression scowl. It hardens, and he says, "I know the stiff."
My condolences, then. And he instead of putting the head off to the side, he plunks it down on the table closer to you. Then.
Dardell Stoneheart.
Oh, then perhaps you should go to his next of kin.
Don't know him, but means I gotta go to someone who does know him. He was filth.
Hmm. There's a moment. There's something to Quill's reaction. It's very hard to read. If someone wants to make an insight check, you're more than welcome to. But it's very brief and quick, and then he kind of goes back to researching.
You said insight.
He is.
I am gonna roll this. What are you thinking, Quill? I'm gonna blow inspiration.
You guys are just killing it.
It's like it's on and off every session. High rolls, low rolls.
It really is. There's no in between for you guys. It's either 1s or 20s and nothing else. Okay. Both Estella and Core, Quill wasn't really hiding it. Where he just, Core gives his explanation as to who the dwarf was, and more in particular, pointed out the line of he was filth. There's just a moment where Quill looks at the head, has a bit of a disapproving look, and then just proceeds to go back to his work.
Let me roll something here.
Go for it, champ.
Core. For a moment, it looks like he's going to. It looks like he's gonna have an impulse of reaction here, as he notices the look, and then he kind of eases up and he says, "What was that?"
Was what?
Yeah, you had a little bit of a. You had a little bit of thing, I guess.
I don't have time to beat around the bush and to do favors for a friend and have someone dance around the subject. So if you have a statement to make it or be quiet.
You got a problem with that part? Him being filth?
Yes. Not a great amount, but I have a certain opinion over the organization, as you will find many adjutants do. Does that answer suffice?
Yeah, I think it does.
Very well. And he continues going through the remnants of the stick man, eventually organizing all the chopped up little bits back into what is roughly the shape of a humanoid. And then he sort of begins inspecting things. He takes out the the charcoal scrawlings that Cora made, reviewing the runes. And you just kind of hear him mumbling to himself. A book from a high shelf will float over to him and open itself up. And it'll start flipping through pages that he sort of begins referencing back and forth. It takes him quite a few minutes to do this. But once it sort of finishes, he just kind of nods. Expression doesn't really change a whole lot. Well, my original assumptions have been correct. This type of magic for this particular entity is derived from a coven of hags that were thought to be extinct, their magics since having been lost. However, it seems, as hags often do, some have survived and have resurfaced here in Geliath. The magic used to create these entities that you've been referring to as straw men requires pieces of a once living host, and then any form of support to animate them, such as the wooden skeletons and frames you've become familiar with. However, the more important facet to consider is that the magic, that is only part of what it suffices to do. The other section of it allows the straw men in question to wear the face of the individual who they have been created from and appear healthy and alive and normal, along with carrying with them some of the surface memories of the individual before they were killed, allowing them to blend in if necessary. So these individuals, and he just sort of points to the remains on the table, could be walking past you at any particular moment, and you would never know. They're honestly quite artful, if not a little macabre.
It's unsettling.
Chorus is kind of making like extended eye contact with what's left of the head.
Mm-hmm. And its lifeless eyes continue to stare back unfalteringly. While you're just sort of having that protracted stare contest, Quill moves over to the book that was left on the table and just kind of sits back into a stool, now being a bit more nonchalant, and begins inspecting the tome. After a moment, he'll just sort of idly go, I don't know where this came from, and if it is a child's, the child is very gifted, but this is a spell book.
Called it.
And he reaches into one of his robe pockets, clutching something in his hand, and then with the knuckle extended, he knocks on the front of the book, and you just watch it as the lock and the flap just opens up. The hand goes back into the pocket, depositing whatever it was he was clutching, and he flips open the first page. And then continues the flip. Well, this is intriguing. I would be hard pressed to believe that a young child was responsible for this book. You said he had a bit more of a roguish streak to him. Then I would believe he's likely stolen this from someone.
I wouldn't make assumptions. Could be his. He might have put it together somehow. I don't know. Their handiwork is, well... He's resourceful, we'll just say that, like I said.
Allow me to put this simply. The level of work put into this and the ability to manipulate and write some of these spell formulas implies experience that is beyond the age of a child that you've been speaking of. So either the child that you are looking for is not a child, or this belongs to someone else. Whichever reality you choose to accept is up to you.
What are you trying to say? That he stole from one of those freaks?
I don't believe that to be the case either. Hags have a certain aesthetic. This is far too refined. And even in the rare instances when they choose to blend in, they still usually do not keep things of this magnitude in a shell such as this. The care and finesse used to protect this. I suspect it belongs to someone else. But, and this is just conjecture, of course, they might be using the hags to their own ends. This might have yet another layer on top of what we've already seen.
Nice. It's great. It's what I want to hear.
Well then, I will already forewarn you not to pursue the individual who I believe might belong to the spell book, given the formulas written within implies a great deal of power. Confronting them would likely result in your deaths. The hags, on the other hand, well, I suppose the warning extends to them as well. There is in fact a coven. Well, you're probably already out of your depth. There is simply one or two of them, then they are still weak enough. You can likely deal with them. and it will stop the harvesting of children for a time. But if there is in
Can you
fact
trace
someone
us a
above
name?
them... Pardon?
Can you trace us a name?
I can try.
I'd like that. Sorry, I didn't mean to break your train of thought.
No, I was merely warning you that if these hags are in fact under someone else's umbrella, if you will, that removing the hags will only temporarily halt the harvesting of the children that you've been seeking. Because if this individual has a need for hags to harvest children, then they have a need to harvest children in general. Which means it'll happen again eventually, just by different perpetrators.
Of course, it's kind of really, really, really quiet. He mutters something beneath his breath about having enough warning as he's staring at the eyes of his dead compatriot.
Mm-hmm.
But
Turn that edge dial up one more notch.
yeah, a little bit. Yeah, just a little bit further in.
If you're willing to leave the spellbook with me, I can take some time and see if I can identify any greater amount of information as to who might be the perpetrator of the writings within, or at the very least, a place to begin searching from. Of course, it will take some time. I do have, in fact, work to do here, and then on these 2 days you have found me, I work in my own private laboratory, following my own pursuits.
I trust that we can leave it up to you to inform your peers about these findings.
Yes, of course. I have to write a report every day. I will include it.
I don't think that our goals have changed at all, even if there is something stronger, higher above them. If we sit back and do nothing, then the children are going to die or turn into hags, whatever they're doing.
I already mentioned there's probably someone above them. Like, I don't know. I hate speculating and being right. I better stop giving my bad luck ideas. I need to make a stop and let people know that, well, he just gestures silently at the body. They're gonna want to know.
Would you like me to dispose of the body?
That ain't my decision. Maybe... I don't know. Listen,
If I do not dispose of it, then you will be taking it with you. I have no greater need for it to remain here. I've taken everything I need from it. And besides, Star has a rule about rotting bodies in the store.
how are you gonna get rid of it?
I tend to be quite fond of fire when it comes to disposing of bodies. Simply put, I will envelop it in a bubble of force and then start a fire within and burn it until it is nothing.
Can you put in what's left in a jar? I don't know if he's got family or what. I'm acquainted, but you know, I I didn't know him. You didn't know him.
No, I did not.
So I guess wrap him up, cook him, and stuff him in a jar. Bring the rest with me.
Well, then might I suggest you go find some brunch in the meantime. That will take a moment. Bones do not easily reduce to ash in short time.
I think we gotta make a few stops anyway. And I mean, we expect to be here for a bit now, right?
I think so. Apologies for the hassle, Quill.
It's fine. This has been mildly intriguing. Better than the normal enchanting work I've been stuck with lately. All the same, I appreciate the inclusion. And the spell book, it is quite intriguing.
For us non-wizards, exactly how strong would you say this spellbook's wielder is?
Hmm.
Stronger than you.
Hmm. Not likely. But powerful. I feel like the only thing that would stop them from being better than me is ambition, which is to say something, given that they're harvesting probably children's souls. They are powerful. Enough so that they could probably disintegrate several people in a room by thinking about it. Do not be surprised if you are so brash as to confront them in the future. If you find your bodies unable to move, your minds ravaged, or simply you've been burned to death before you realize it's happened. They're also very protective. There was not only a magical lock on this, which was relatively stubborn, it had several glyphs on the inside. Contingency glyphs as well. You pursue this individual, if I find any information on them, be aware you will likely walk headlong into many, many traps. They seem to value their knowledge. More impressive is the fact that the book was stolen at all.
Powerful and paranoid. It's a dangerous combo.
As most wizards frequently.
You don't think he
I've-
would want that to get stolen intentionally, do you? This seems awfully careless.
Would be a very convincing reproduction of a secondary spell book to have stolen. But someone determined enough would do it. I don't suspect they would rely on it ending up in someone's hands such as mine. If they are using it as a means for bait or to track it, they'll be sorely surprised. Otherwise, if they've already used it to identify where it previously was kept, well, then the individual, such as named Hatner, might be in greater trouble than you think.
Once you're in boiling water, the water can only get so hot. Of course, been sizing him up this entire time.
Okay. Yeah, easy. What are your two comparisons?
We're gonna designate Claire.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Level of spell slots.
Superior.
Okay.
For the record, I'm speaking of Quill. Quill's level of spell slots were superior.
Yeah. And the other thing we're gonna go with here is I think maximum HP compared to who am I thinking of?
Mm-hmm.
This is to be somebody else I've investigated, right?
Yep.
You know what? Let's also make this Claire.
Superior.
Okay. That's all Core does, just quietly looking at him.
Okay.
Yelena just kind of looks towards everyone. Should we get going then?
I'm ready.
Yeah.
You step out from behind the curtain in the tinkerer's workshop. Star is kind of leaning up against the counter, like, chin in her palm, kind of impatiently tapping her fingers against it, just sort of drumming along. Business looks a little slow. She looks over as you're all exiting. Are you sure I can't interest you in anything new today?
Do you have anything under 100 gold?
She stops. Well, yes. I mean, just the short answer is yes.
Anything interesting?
That's the harder part of that question. Answer is still yes. Do you have any particular needs you'd like to fulfill? Or would you just like to see what we have in stock?
Preferably something that would help me in a fight. Or with performances.
Well, let me see. Over here, and she takes you to a side of the store. Let's see. We have a set of boots that you can leave any kind of footprint you want. We have a cloak that you can change colors. We have a brazier that when you light, you can change the color of the fire and make the smoke into any shapes you want. Let's see. Fighting or performance? How about a staff that can bloom flowers? No, not particularly interesting, is it? How about a wand that can make people smile?
How much for the brazier?
Make a persuasion check for me. She's gonna size you up.
Double inspiration on that. Oh god, 10.
Ouch. I think in most cases, usually when you're a friend of a friend, prices usually go down, but you're Quill's friend. And that says something about you. The brazier goes for a clean 75 gold pieces.
I'll take it.
Very good. Would you like me to wrap it up for you, or do you just want to carry it out?
I'll carry it.
All right. Well, and she reaches up onto the shelf that it's resting on, snaps her fingers, and then picks it up. And then she will just turn around and hand it to you. The brazier is about a foot in diameter. It is made of silver and banded in gold, with studs that are also polished silver. There are very difficult when you sort of turn it so the light catches it on the silver parts of the cup of the brazier itself, of the bowl. You can see that there are runes very finely inscribed into it. Inside the bowl itself, there is a small four-pronged, I would hesitantly call it a cage, where you would normally load wood into it, so it's got a thing to keep it formed in this otherwise half sphere shape. And it's got 4 little legs on it that have a little bit of a hooked claw decoration to them, like they might have been modeled after like an eagle. It's very pretty.
Nice.
All right, and here you go. And she'll reach into her crimson colored cloak and pull out a slip that very well branded says Stars General Goods Store, goods for all of your adventuring needs. And underneath is a small little list of instructions of how to use it.
Have a nice day. She'll
You as well.
pocket the slip for now.
She gets you to the door. Any last minute purchases? Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Hey.
What?
So yeah.
Oh. Sorry, I was just so used to you guys being cheap. What do you want?
Cheap? You're calling me cheap?
Well, I guess they did. Probably didn't mean it. If you're going to spend more money, I'll take it back.
I don't need you to take it back. Anyway. Do you have anything for dreams?
That's a very vague question. Do you want to have wild dreams? Do you want to have dreams at all? Do you not want to have dreams? Are you looking just for a sleep potion? What do you need? Very broad.
I have a sneaking suspicion I'm going to have a dream problem in the near future. And I don't exactly know what I'm going to do about that.
You're still being incredibly vague. Do any of the other ones here, do any of you know what he's trying to get at? Because I'm still lost as to what trying to sell him.
We're dealing with a dream monster.
Okay. Do you not want to have dreams? Like, is the answer to not go to sleep, or is it to not have dreams?
Well, the best solution would be if I can drag it out of a dream and then beat it to death. But I don't think that's going to happen. So
no, I don't think I have something for that. Sorry.
So no dreams would probably be pretty good, unless you could just stop me from sleeping.
Well, I could, but I can't do anything about the lack of sleep. I absolutely have something that'll keep you up, but as per usual, not sleeping is usually not healthy. That's why they come with warning labels.
Why don't you walk me through your wares?
Okay, where do you want me to start?
Well, you did call me cheap, didn't you?
I did. Do you
So
have
what do you
do you have a budget?
My budget is less than 50 gold pieces.
That narrows our options down a bit. Basically to 2. So the cheaper of the 2 options, I do have a potion that will stop you from dreaming. For the record, sleep still isn't great with these. You basically fall asleep and then you wake up the next day and you'll feel groggy and disoriented. You might have a bit of dry mouth, and no appetite for a while. But other than that, no dreams. Those potions, they go for 15 gold apiece. As for the potions that will keep you awake, with no need to sleep, they run at 50 gold a pop. But they allow you to go for 2 days straight with no sleep and suffer no ill effects. And then the following day, you suffer all of the effects.
Let's go with the 15 gold one.
Okay, that's what I thought. Just the one?
Yeah, just the one.
Okay. You want me to wrap it up?
Sure.
Oh,
Do you have, I don't know, a condolence card or something?
yeah. Gift cards are on the other side of cards
Gift card?
and gift cards, birthday cards, wedding cards, funeral cards, all on the other side of the store. And she points to a corner where there's a small little rack of
All I see is
cards.
get well soon. That ain't gonna cut it.
Sorry, your husband died. Here's a $5 gift card.
Yeah, no. There's a lever. There's a lever. Pull the lever. It'll change the cards. Sorry, we had a dwarf that built a store. He's very much about keeping everything compact. Yeah, there's a lever. Pull the lever. It'll change the type of cards, and you keep pulling it until you find the cards you want. Anyway, I'm gonna go wrap this. And Star wanders off. It doesn't take her very long. It takes her like a solid 2 minutes, and she comes back with a tiny little red box with a bright gold star on top of it, with one of the same little cards tucked into the top of it, and she just politely hands it to you, Core. Dosage instructions, and a list of side effects to keep an eye out for, and if any of them persist, you should probably go see a cleric.
Or like, how much is this condolence card?
How fancy do you go? On a scale of like 1 to 10, how fancy are you looking?
Probably like a silver piece. Kind of fancy for.
All right, yeah, that's like a solid 8. And then the prices for cards like considerably jump on 9 and 10. Oh yeah, so it's like an 8. It's really nice. Like it's beveled and there's like gold leafing. It's really nice.
Of course, like this card is disgusting. It could feed so many people.
It's true.
So I guess this'll do.
All right. Well, I'll just yoink. He just takes the coin from you.
Core is just like, I don't know. I'm supposed to even. What am I supposed to do about this? I guess I'll just hand it to her.
If you're uncertain about how to deal with loss and death, there's a hunter temple dedicated to. Well, yeah, I guess there's still. There's a temple of the hunters down the road. About a 15-minute walk. They probably appreciate some patronage right around now. Not that it's a good thing your friend died, but all the same, they're pretty good at dealing with death and grief. If you're looking for some advice.
I mean, I guess.
Or or don't. It's fine. Just okay. But you guys have a great day. I'm gonna go back to work. Unless you want to buy something else.
What? You, Star.
What?
What do you got? I just want to know what you got.
What do you mean? What I got? I have a lot of things.
Yeah, but you said it changes every day. Yes.
I mean, a lot of the time, yeah. I mean, some things stay if they don't sell, but a lot of people come and go. But, Quill's constantly making new things.
Last time I got this cool cloak. Is there
You did?
anything else
Looked right on
like it?
Like the cloak or something adjacent to the cloak?
Either or.
Like, do you want a magical crown of flowers next? That can turn into
those?
a whip?
They have those?
Yes. We have one.
You have... May I see it?
Sure. I thought you guys were done buying things. Well, pardon me. And just follow me, please. She takes you to another side of the store.
She's more than happy to make this money.
And goes to another glass box where there is just a it is a crown of woven vines with several small buds along it. And then she reaches through the glass and then pulls the crown out and holds it in both palms of her hands. She goes, all right, so this, when you put it upon your head, the flowers will bloom, and the flowers will change based off of your personality. So everyone's flower crown will be slightly different. And she goes, as an example, and she picks it up and puts it on her head. And you watch as all the buds begin to slowly turn and then grow and bloom into these bright, red star-shaped flowers with these white centers and yellow stamen. And she does a little curtsy. Now, if you want the fun part, you take it and you usually speak the command word. We can set the command word to whatever you want it to be for you. Currently, given that this was inspired by a customer, it was sort of insisted we keep it because it's the story behind it's very funny. The current command word is dominatrix. And so she grabs the end of the crown and holds it in her hand, and she goes, dominatrix, and just whoosh, and it extends and unravels into a very tight, taut, woven vine, a whip of vines, and the flowers fall away, and in their place grow thorns.
Well, that's amazing. It's really funny. She just like chuckles.
Yeah, for the record, this is inspired from one of my players in my Friday game, who has a thorn, who has a flower that turns into a vine whip, and her command word is dominatrix. So Star saw this, thought it was great, and was like, Quill, make one of these for me. And he was like, if I have to.
That's so good.
So, not only does it double as a whip, so you can use it for practical things, like if you don't want to go over to that side of the store to get that candle, whoosh, and she yanks the candle off the shelf towards her and she catches it with the other hand. It can also magically animate itself and wrap itself around people that perhaps you don't like and pull them towards you while also stabbing them repeatedly with long, needly thorns.
Oh, that sounds wonderful.
It is pretty great.
Considering there's a specific threat that keeps running away. She smells.
Well, then this would be great.
How much?
Make a persuasion check.
1,000
Persuasion check?
Yeah, she's sizing you up.
Persuasion.
That's pretty good. I like your style. You like spending money, and you're clearly building a theme, which I really appreciate. 150 gold pieces.
Done.
All right. You want me to wrap it up? You just want to carry it out with you?
I'll just carry it out. You know I bought it. She chuckles. What a bad joke.
Although, would you like us to change the command word?
Yes.
Okay, what would you like it to be?
Valor to me, no.
That's weird, but okay.
Actually, yeah. I think that's what I'll name it, actually. The command word valor to me.
I thought you were gonna make it flower power.
No, what?
Okay, are you sticking with that?
Yes.
Okay. Star will take the crown real quickly and kind of half skip, half run into the back, halfway going, Quill, and pull the curtain aside and vanish behind, where you kind of hear a bit of a huff, and then about a minute later she comes back out with it. Okay, it's been changed. Here you go. And she'll hand you the crown, and you'll hand her the gold. And like all the other items she sold today, she'll provide a little card with it that explains how to use it. Which it does just say insert command word versus your actual command word, because that would be a security hazard. Unless someone know it, say it, and it just grow onto your head and go, ow.
Ow.
Ow. Wow.
Thank you, Star.
You're most welcome. Well, let me know how those things perform for you. And if anyone ever asks, send them my way.
Oh, I definitely will. Thank you.
Excellent. All right, last time, I swear, anybody else? Anything at all?
Hobber raises his hand only for Nero to slowly pull it back down. No.
Don't let him hold you back. Is there something you want?
No, he's actually right. We do not have the money to spend, and I need to stop putting us in debt. Yes, really do.
Yeah, you shouldn't go in the debt. That's bad practice.
Yes.
Always live within your means. That's actually kind of an important thing.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if nothing else, thank you for shopping at Stars. And if you need me, I'm always going to be here, unless the store is closed, in which case I'm not. I don't live in my store. That'd be absurd.
That would be a little kooky.
It would be. Well, some people do it. It's actually not that uncommon. It's much more affordable in the city.
You seem like the kind of girl who sleeps in a pile of money.
That would be very uncomfortable. Have you ever tried to sleep in a bed full of coins?
No.
It hurts.
So you've tried?
Yes. Just
Cards.
like don't ever let anyone tell you to try to swim through your wealth. Doesn't work. Know a guy? Can't walk anymore.
Oh my god.
Yep, clerics couldn't even heal it. It was bad.
Oh, that is pretty bad.
It was pretty bad.
Hang on,
Anyway.
I gotta be right back.
You know what? That seems like a great and a slightly awkward cutaway to go take a break.
Yeah, I gotta take care of something real quick. Sorry.
Yeah, so let's go take a 5-10 minute break.
Okay.
We're aiming for like 45 past, so something like that.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay. And we will be right back. I will be right back as soon as I set the away. And away. Can't wait until I get all the UI stuff for this done. It's gonna look so much better. But as aforementioned, we will be right back. In about 5-10 minutes. Okay.
I'm back. If
Welcome
anybody's here. Yeah, I had to bring the dogs in my room because there's a guy coming in to do our flooring. I am dog sitting now for a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, I have someone here to do the flooring, and that means I have to cram my dogs into my room.
Yep, I know that name.
Yeah, and they are gonna sit here and stare at my door.
Also, I just wanted to a quick side note. While you guys have been role playing, I just wanted to thank one of our viewers that's been chilling and chatting with me on the stream for the last 2 hours. Patty, that's been real chill. We've had some decent interactions. I've been enjoying it. You know,
Yeah.
it's been nice. It's been nice. Like while you guys have just been sort of been vamping, just chilling and having good role play moments, I'm just like over there and just chatting up, answering questions. Honestly, there's nothing more fun than D&D people connecting and seeing things other D&D people use and going, oh, that's really cool, I want to use that. That's honestly one of my favorite moments. That's exactly how I got half, like 65% of the rules that I use in my game.
Oh, this is your rule? This is my rule.
In D&D, it's everybody's rule. To write that later. Okay, since everyone's not here, Patty, I'll give you the rundown. So I run currently 3 games every week. Tuesdays, I run the Moonrise campaign at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard to 4. And of course, take into account daylight savings time as it rolls around this weekend. 1 to 5, pardon me. Today's game, at a bright and early 7 a.m. to about 11. And then I have a Friday night game that starts around 7:30 PST and ends roughly around 10:30 or 11 every Friday. I stream all 3 games now, which is really exciting. I play in a game on Thursday that I host the channel that I play. So if you pop by here, you'll see then. And that's at 4 p.m. to about 8 p.m. Pacific Standard. And I'm looking to because I hate myself, but also really love myself and my hobby. Probably going to be running a game on Mondays. It's a one-on-one with my wife. I don't know when that's going to be, but that's going to start at some point. A lot of games. Love me some tabletop RPGs. Yeah, but there's always something. I think that was my goal. But otherwise, thanks for joining and chatting. It's been a pleasure. Enjoy your game that you're about to start running. Good luck. Come back and let me know how it went.
You'll do fine.
I think every DM tells themselves that, and they get into the moment. There's always something that goes, yeah, but did I do fine? I do that after every game, regardless of how many compliments I get from players. I'm just like, yeah, but could I do better? But I'm also very hypercritical of myself. Artists and creatives tend to do that, I guess. Still waiting on people, which is fine.
Or are you?
Oh. All right, Greg, I see you. Were you just waiting for me to say something like that?
No, it was perfect timing of me walking up the stairs with Bluetooth headphones on with some breakfast.
I can appreciate that. That is good timing.
Yeah. That's the Bluetooth headphones are so nice because like you can if you're stealthy enough, you can go do something real quick and still be like listening in to know what's going on,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't have to wait for like bathroom breaks or anything like that. You can just go.
I've considered Bluetooth, but I really just like my wired things. Granted, the
That's
earbuds,
fair.
because I plug my earbuds into my microphone.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I do this, the wire kind of gets in the way sometimes, so maybe wireless is the way to go for now.
I've just yanked my headset off way too many times accidentally with like because I didn't realize. Oh yeah, these are plugged in. Because like either I went to turn around in my chair, I went to get up, and I just like I'm tired of just doing that to myself.
Yeah, okay, so like that's super funny. So I feel you because boy have I done that. So if you didn't notice the obnoxious bright green color of my earbuds, I support Razer in two products, which is keyboards and earbuds, because they have both lasted me and been very good to me for several years. Whereas I've had two Razer headsets and they died on me within the year.
Yeah,
but like I've had my keyboard. I have a Mass Effect 3 limited edition keyboard from when the game came out. That's Razer.
Nice.
And it drank a whole can of Mountain Dew and it's still working. And this was forever ago, like about 8 years ago. Honestly, I think it was the same year Mass Effect 3 came out that it happened, and it's still kicking. It didn't even stutter. For some reason, it also didn't become sticky. Like I took all the keys out, and I have no idea where it was. It just drank the Mountain Dew, and to this day, it still scares me. But the keyboard's still kicking. Other than the backlights flickering occasionally, it's still perfectly fine. The earbuds, I've gone through three different earbuds over the course of like 10, 12 years or so. And I have been the one responsible for their destruction every time. They've never died on me. Both of which have been plugged into a computer. I remember one, it scarred me forever. It was at my internship when I was going to school, college. It was one of my internships I was at. I had it plugged into the computer. My boss called me because we needed to go to discuss a design brief. And I had my earbuds in and I wasn't paying any attention. And I spun in my chair and got up. And one earbud came with me. And the other one stayed plugged in. And it made me very sad. So yeah. So anyway, yeah, I'm a weird diehard fan of specific Razer products, not officially sponsored by Razer. But yeah, some things are great. But yeah, like I would never run into that problem if they were Bluetooth, right? I have to get something that can sync with Bluetooth, though.
Yeah. On the downside, though, this headset dying because I never remember to actually plug it in when I'm not using it.
That is a downside.
I'm a dum-dum. Also, sometimes it has been a bit finicky with how it wants to connect to my computer, but it's usually not that hard to sort out. It's just disconnecting and deleting the that it remembers to pair with that, and then just repairing, and it usually sorts itself out after that.
Last question about this before we begin: do you have a built-in system, or did you get an adapter?
Built-in.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard like the motherboard Bluetooth can be kind of finicky sometimes.
Which is it's wild to me though, like that. It seems like a pretty like generic by the book feature. Like I don't see why like computers of all things should be having problems with Bluetooth, but like that might just be me not knowing enough about computers.
No, it's not. As someone who is currently in the process of building a computer and buying parts and being very choosy, most Mobos that have like built-in Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, almost everybody comments on how, yeah, it's a nice additional feature, but it doesn't always work super well, and most people just go buy an adapter. Because apparently adapters are more reliable, which means that there is in fact just a fundamental problem with the way they produce and their Mobos.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's weird. Anyway.
Yeah.
D&D, we're back. We're gonna do some more of that, yeah? Okay, well, we're doing it whether or not people want to.
Oh no.
While her companions were, buying other things, Yelena read the instructions. I assume she's just carrying a bunch of wood with her so she can't practice.
That is the only
Core-
downside. They do it does require wood to be fed into it. But when all it does is when you feed the wood into it, if you cup the brazier itself on either side with both hands, and then think about the color of the fire you want it to be, it will burn that color. And then from that point forward, while that particular source of wood is burning, as long as you are within 30 feet of it, you can think and telepathically tell it to change colors or animate the smoke how you wish.
Nice. Just absolutely going to be using that with performances.
Course is kind of like standing by, yelling at as she's reading the instructions, kind of staring at the Cadillans card, kind of like a little, not numbly, but kind of like with this look of like, okay, I bought this. Now what? And then he kind of like ends up putting it away, and he just sighs and just mutters, "What a mess."
Which is funny. Your card just says imbibe before sleeping, and that it's like literally just one sentence, but the card is like this long, and the rest of it's just side effects.
Says vibe before sleeping. Make sure you got some good vibes going.
Estella is just vibing out with her new whip.
Consult your
Got some
doctor if you do not wake
vibes.
up.
Do not wake up. Wait a minute.
You got some Yu Yu Hakusho vibes going on now, Sam. Some Kurama.
Oh,
Yeah,
I know.
I dig it. Speaking of, what kind of flowers bloom for Estella? You're free to
It's
make up a
like-
flower or reference a real world one if you like, but you got all the flexibility you want.
It's such a toss up because she, like, when I think of Estella, I think of so many flowers.
Pretty ones.
I'd say. What's the name of that one flower? Sorry, I'm trying to think of a certain flower.
Sorry if you're gonna hear the whining in the background from my dog. He really wants to leave the room so he can go back in, and then he can come back in, and then he can leave, and then he can come back in.
I actually didn't hear anything.
Just like zooming back.
Can you hear me
awesome.
crunching on chips? 'Cause
Yes,
I am. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's delicious.
Wow, you should have told me. I feel terrible.
it's okay.
It's a
No, it's
character.
not. Yeah, Star is just sitting there staring at you guys eating chips now.
Chicken flavored chips.
The chicken chips are spreading.
Yep. But they're the cool
Everyone's eating them.
they're the cool ranch chicken chips.
Ooh.
So, Blue. What's the plan from here?
It's a good question.
You know, it's really confusing when you say that, because we all have pretty much red hair, but we have blue skin. And we usually think we're talking about you're talking about us.
Ever called you Blue? Ever? In the year that I have known you, have I ever said Blue and meant you?
No, but it's still kind of confusing.
He's right. It's very confusing.
Listen, I'm under a lot of pressure. 1 second.
He's not very
under a
good
lot
at
of
giving
something, all
nicknames.
There we go.
He calls me
interrupt.
Blue because of my eyes, but Estella has blue eyes too.
Yeah, true.
This
Look,
is
I
true.
thought you two were sisters to begin with. Both of you got the red hair and the blue eye thing going on, and you both dress pretty similarly.
She just looks over.
Yolita shrugs.
I got the Chili Pepper Brothers over here. That's Queen, and you. I keep bouncing between nicknames.
We do have actual names, though. It's
Yeah,
true.
I do know you got actual names.
Yeah.
But I just want to know what we're doing. I got a few more things I need to do because I wasn't expecting to know the stiff.
I think going and finding out who knew them is probably low on the priority list.
Yeah, except if he's dead and he was doing something, then that means some other people I might know might be involved with that. And I don't know about you, but I would really prefer if the number of people that I could actually trust stopped thinning.
Also, you probably had a family, and you probably want to know what happened.
Yeah, he got propped on the table so a laird could look at him and you know. Anyway,
I understand where you're coming from, but as we speak, Hatner is somewhere out there, having not slept in days, being hunted by hags, and there are still children missing.
I know that. I'm running as fast as I can, trying to think of anything I can do here, alright? But it's not a good sign when someone who's tied to the filth ends up dead like that.
These people are preying on those that can disappear without anybody else caring.
Look, this is only going to take me a little bit to establish something there. I would rather not do it on my own, because that's how trouble starts.
And then usually you have to crash at our house, and to be honest, Core, you leave a bit of a mess.
Core just gives you a very, very flat look.
How far is it to where you need to go?
We're in the right part of town. Out of character, Dyer. How long would it be? How long would it take to get a hold of Candace?
It's basically leaving a message with a particular shop owner and then waiting about an hour.
We could. I just need to stop at a shop. I gotta leave a calling card. And I'll know in an hour I gotta come back here anyway to pick up the ashes.
Well, what else can we do while the body is burning? Because Quill said it would take quite a while.
We gotta talk to Pops.
I was just about to wake you up.
And I guess there's the second district if we really want to go there. Which more fun for me. I'd rather someone else did talking there. Because I'm liable to say something, and that's probably gonna get me in a lot of hot water.
And probably us by association.
Well, let's go stop by Pops then, because he's closest.
Maybe he'll have some advice as to what I'm supposed to do about this. Look, I'm sorry. Apart from the numbskulls here, I don't really know you. I mean, I guess I know you, and we're in this, but you don't know me well. I don't know you well. let's just keep this going.
I'm just gonna start walking towards Pops's.
Okay. It is about a 20-minute walk from where you are.
Let me know if the shop is along the way.
You know what? Let me roll a dice and find out.
Sure.
It is.
What is the name of it?
It is a small little mail carrier and goods store. Basically, a little shipping place. Called Pack Mule and Go.
How appropriate. Cora is going to tug on Yelena's arm.
Just look down.
That's the store.
Go ahead then.
Can you come with me?
Fine.
Thanks. Cora's just going to go in.
Okay.
I will follow.
There's a little bell that jingles as you enter. It is a small store. There's a tiny little table up front for people to do some package working. Otherwise, there's a long counter, and there's a gnomish gentleman with glasses and a curl of chocolate brown hair, just sort of standing up behind the counter. Sees you come in, leans forward. Welcome to my store. What can I do for you fine folks today?
But you forget the name of the store. I got a package.
Well, then you came to the right place. Where does it need to go? Who's it going to?
Cora is going to give whatever alias or whatever he would usually give for this.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll say, well, you know, if it's not here, it might be here within the hour.
Okay.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for that.
No problem.
And then Cora's just going to make his way out.
Okay.
Is there anybody else in the store or anything like that?
Nope.
Okay.
Just the gnomish gentleman.
Mm-hmm.
Who gives you a wave as you exit.
Cora will just kind of wave at him as he's like walking away.
Okay. So that little stop included extends your walk about by a couple of minutes. No big deal. Eventually, you end up on the block with the tenement that Pops stays at. When you arrive, the first to knock on the door will wait a moment, and you will receive no answer.
Are there any windows?
There are. There are two windows on the side of the building. That block.
Wait a minute. See if, anyone comes to the door. And if nobody does, I'm going to kind of walk around to the side and take a peek in.
Okay. No one does. Go around to the side. The interior looks unlit. It's a bit dim, so you're basically relying on the sunlight to kind of peer within. Make a perception check. Peering within, you see that this open window peers mostly into this, open studio apartment. Sounds incorrect because it sounds like it's much bigger than it is. But it is mostly one room with the exception of the water closet. Peering in, you can see into the corner where the kitchen is next to it were the stove that is currently unlit. And everything looks to be, pretty tidy and organized, with the exception of the smattering of papers and various research bits on the table in the center of the room, which you are familiar with. It just looks like no one's home.
She'll walk around back. Looks like he just isn't home.
Would I know anything about his routine or anything where he might be off to at this hour?
Make me a history check.
Sure.
Because, you are aware that he is constantly doing stuff. It's whether or not you know specifically where and what he is doing.
Sure. I'll roll inspiration here.
Okay.
Jeez. Okay.
Lucky number 7. Pops is pretty busy. As he's mentioned, he does take care. He takes care of more than just the kids he's having you look for. He's taken on the responsibility for caring for some couple dozen children in the city, along with going to volunteer at various places that help take care of some of the destitute or poor on the outsides of the city. He could be anywhere.
I would recommend just sliding a note beneath the door.
Go ahead.
He could. Sure.
There is a
Because I
mail
carry the
slot,
pa-
for what it's worth. This mail is a regular thing in the city.
Yeah, Cora will just drop something in the mail slot, I think.
Okay.
It's not a, this isn't too bad a part of town, I think.
No, the first district there isn't really a bad part of the first district. There's also not really a rich part of the first district either. Everyone kind of lives on the same level. You just choose whether or not if you want to have the luxury of having more space in your accommodations or not. Otherwise, it's all about the same. And that's sort of what the district head here pushes for. This place is less about wealth. Well, with that note deposited, where is the next stop?
Cora just writes that. Says, I don't know how long it's going to be.
Standing around doesn't get us anywhere.
Out of character, how far away is the second district from here?
By walking or by carriage?
Walking.
Walking, it'll take you about an hour.
It's an hour to the second district by walking. I'd rather not leave just yet. Maybe we stop at the orphanage, see how the kids are doing. Maybe they can give a little advice about, how to handle Hatner.
Sounds like a good idea to me. Even if we find him, we'll need to convince him that we're on his side. He's probably delirious at this point.
I think we could convince him that we are trying to help him. Well, I think the orphanage, to figure out what Hatner could possibly be up to, is probably the best idea. He's already shown that he's very self-sufficient.
Surprisingly so.
Yeah, no kidding.
Let's head over then.
Okay, over to the Fate's Edge Orphanage. This is about another half-hour walk, heading in a more easternly direction this time. I will adjust calendar time. Still got plenty of daylight left.
Yeah, Cora will say after this we gotta head back so I can meet with that friend of mine.
All right. You make it to the edge of the block, where you know the Fate's Edge Orphanage is. As you get closer, you can hear the voice of someone that is speaking very loudly. And you cut part way in on. So when someone steps into your ring of threat, it is the opportunity for you to find an opening in their defense to either threaten them and push them away or to cause harm. And this is an efficient method in which to finish a fight quickly. And then you hear, all right, I'm going to do a demonstration here with Amethyst, and we're going to then practice this maneuver. And then you hear a bunch of very much younger, smaller voices just kind of agree, go, okay. And as you guys approach, you see in the yard the familiar sight of Rain sitting on the front steps of the orphanage with her hammer nearby, just kind of resting on the stairs. But then in the yard on the left side, you see two other individuals in crimson cloaks. One, Amethyst, who you are familiar with, and the other one, a new face, one you've not seen before. He has bright red hair, green eyes. He looks like he has just an it's not obnoxious, but he has a smile on his face that looks like if you were to try to keep that smile on, your face would hurt for too long. And he is currently wielding a very well-made, thin-bladed elven longsword. Amethyst currently has a rapier in her hand, and you see that there's a group of 6 of the older children. They look to be at least 12 and up, that are also all armed with training swords. And you watch as Amethyst and this individual, they go through a bit of a sword fighting maneuver. Rain will see you guys approach, and she'll get up from her seat on the stairs and just kind of walk her way over, kind of stretching. Welcome back. Bringing good news, or are you here for more questions?
We thought we'd check in with the kids.
Very good.
We
Well,
we do have updates.
well, that's something.
See why you call them smiles.
Yes. Yeah, and I would say infectious, but a lot of people just say annoying. I suppose, would you like to meet the captain? Or do you want to wait until he's done with his instruction?
It's not super pressing.
Very well.
Let's chit chat.
Inside, Mason, do you want to talk about what you've learned, or do you want to go see the kids first?
Out of character, let's see about talking about what we learned first.
Okay. If there are no disagreements with that.
Sounds good to me.
It is very easy to bring you into the orphanage and take you to the side room that is a bit of a what looks like a bit of a break room for the people that work here. Rain will invite you in, tell you to have a seat and ask if anyone wants water or tea.
I'm good.
I'll have a tea, please.
Mm-hmm.
Me as well.
All right, I'll put something on. It's a little cold out anyway. Anyway, don't wait for me. Just get talking. Time is precious.
Little nippy. It's colder than a witch's tit out. Anyway. So, I guess the first thing we'll talk about, Straw Man.
Right. Creepy individual in the green cloak.
Yeah. Do you want the good news or do you want the bad news?
Let's start with the bad.
There's more than one.
That is bad news.
The good news, we've killed. Well, I guess killed is a relative term. Both of them. Real nasty pieces of work. We dropped the body of the one. Of course, starts talking about it very uncomfortably. With Quill. They're kind of stitched together from people. There are hags involved. We've confirmed that there are hags involved. There's at least 2.
That is horrific and also terrible.
We thought we'd come here and check in with the kids because we're pretty close to finding Hatner. We think we know where he's been staying. But if he's evading us, he's doing a pretty fantastic job of doing it. And we know he's been staying up because these things have been, I guess, attacking him in his dreams or something to that effect. He might be with other kids too. I don't know. But he's their friend. They probably know like a way to reach out to him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kids trust kids.
Yeah, kids tell things that they don't tell adults.
Uh-huh.
And are all of you okay? We have taught Hatner some ways to survive non-hospitable individuals. Were you on the receiving end of any of those tactics?
We bypassed most of the traps.
I almost got an extreme makeover.
Well, I'm glad none of you are hurt, but at the same time, I'm a little disappointed his traps weren't more successful.
Kid managed to trap one of the straw men in a room by itself.
Well, that sounds like him. He was a fast learner. And from there, his everything else was just his own creativity.
I think I counted maybe about 7 traps alone, trying to get up to the floor of the building he was staked out on. Yeah, now,
he feels like he's being threatened. He's gonna dig in. But I suspect any other places he likes to sit in. He's probably trapped the high heaven, especially if he feels like something's following him.
The question is, how do we get to him and convince him that we're not trying to hurt him?
Well, I think that one, I think Cora has the best idea, which is go speak to the kids. We'll probably know something or somewhere that they can send you to that only they would know, and that might be enough of a reason for him to trust you.
So, another thing.
Hmm.
Somehow, Hatner got his hands on someone's spellbook.
Hmm.
And Quill is advising us not to pursue the individual because the magic apparently they're wielding is excessively dangerous.
Well, then I would take his advice.
Yeah.
When it comes to magic, Quill does not kid around. Honestly, he doesn't really kid around a whole lot at all.
No, he's pretty frank.
Yep.
That's funny.
Just that it's accurate. Hmm. Oh. Fortunately, I'm not really one for trying to figure all this stuff out. It's good to know, especially since having confirmed that hags are involved. They're still not at risk to anyone here in the orphanage, which is good news. Again, the warding here will definitely keep them out. So that at the very least, that actually provides a small comfort knowing that we don't have to actively look for anything trying to sneak its way in. So actually, doubling back, you either want to go speak to the captain or you want to go find his second in command. They know a bit more about hags than I do, but depending on the type of hag, they might have some advice for you. Surprised Quill didn't.
Well, I'm assuming that Patrice and Muriel probably aren't out there partaking in sword training. Can we speak with them?
Of course, yeah. The weapons training is only for those in the pre-teen ages. The younger ones are currently participating in story time. I can take you to them. Don't worry about it.
Could someone else do the talking? I'm pretty beat. I'll talk with the kids if you guys want, but come on, give my throat a rest.
I feel like Haba or Estella would probably be better with children than I would.
I could speak to the children if you want.
Or the captain. Anyone? I'm sorry. I'm just.
I just need to know the age of the people I'm taking you to. That's it. You want 10 and under or 10 and over?
Children first, I think.
Okay.
I just need a moment to clear my head.
Well, if you want something to help clear your head, there's a bottle on the bottom shelf. But you didn't hear that from me. Anyone else who's keeping on my heel, follow, please.
Expect me to drink at this hour? I got
Stella
things to do. Like, you got any other staff here?
Well, it's usually me and Amethyst, but there are a couple of others here today. Such as, so Captain Smiles is doing instruction with Amethyst. We've got Bottle, who's currently reading stories with the youngins. And we have the other one's not here yet. We got another member showing up in about less than a bell from now, probably.
Just send someone to me who kind of knows what's going on.
We're all appraised. Anything that deals with us, it's complicated, and I honestly don't like the process, but there's a reporting process we do at the end of every day, and the second in command processes it all and sends a report out for all of us to read about relevant things happening. So we're all more or less informed about the same stuff. So if you run into any of us, we kind of tend to be in the know. Some of us aren't as diligent readers as others, but
Yeah, just send someone here who's, I don't know, personable.
yeah, I feel like most of the people that volunteer for the orphanage kind of have to be when dealing with kids. So don't worry about that.
All right.
All right.
You guys go do that. I'll catch up.
Okay, well, follow me. And Rain will lead you out of the room. You'll go down the stone hallways, looking through the pretty decorated windows, passing by several doors, and then you'll come to a set of double doors that you'll kind of slowly crack open one, and inside you'll hear a voice that sounds like they're reading from a book. And you'll kind of peer in, and it's a very large library that's got no roof, but it's 2 stories tall, so you can see up to the 2nd floor, and it wraps around. Now she stops listening, just kind of nods. Okay, follow me, but be quiet. And she walks in quietly and leads you to the center part of the library that extends to the one side of the orphanage, which is just floor to ceiling windows. So it's very bright and sunny, lets in a lot of light. And you can see there's a group of about 12 young kids, ages ranging from 4 to 9. And in a kind of partly comical fashion, there is an orcish gentleman sitting in a small child-sized stool with a crimson-colored vest, very heavily muscle-bound, and he's just kind of like squat really small, and he's reading from a book that's too small for him, and he's got tiny little reading glasses on. He's just and the little bunny made friends with the dragon, and they lived happily ever after. The end. And, several of the kids are excited, and they kind of cheer, and other ones are kind of quiet because it's how awkward reading times usually is. And then you just see him sort of lean up, and he sort of stretches, and you hear a bunch of cracks in his, shoulder blades in his back, and he sits up straight. All right, what are we going to read next? Take a time, go walk around and see if you find a book you'd like for me to read. And that's when Rain's like, okay, now we're fine. She starts leading you up to the orc, who stands up and does the full hands on back crack. Bottle. These are the individuals you read about in the reports. See if I remember all your names correctly. The elves are Haba and Nero.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, but yeah.
All right. That is Yelena, and the other one is Estella. There's also a small one walking around somewhere. It goes by the name of Or. A little rough around the edges. He's having a bad day. Well, sorry to hear that. What about the rest of you? Well, I guess rather, what can I do for you? Right. They're here to speak to Patty and Muriel. Well, should be pretty easy to find them. They've been attached at the hip since both of them have been here. They're currently picking a book, so I would suspect you can go find them together somewhere in the library. All right. Well, if everyone wants to split up, let's see if we can go find them. And,
Yes, that sounds like a good idea.
Because by that juncture, kids that have had to sit for a little while have a lot of energy to suddenly, burn off. And so while the group was nearby, in the minute it took you to walk over here and have the introduction, you see that there were already kids up on the 2nd floor, which require them to run up this tight cylindrical thing, spiral staircase in the corner of the library.
They are quick, aren't they?
Yes, and very tiring. Well, I'm gonna go this way. I'll yell if I find them. Well, but don't yell. It's a library.
Oh,
How about everyone make me an investigation check? Let's see who finds them. And this is less about being successful and landing in a range.
landing in a range.
Yep.
How about the consistency?
That range is 666.
Oh no.
Well, let's
The
find
child
out.
is Damien from The Omen.
Oh boy.
Oh no. Come on, Greg. It's all up to you,
How about,
bud.
yeah, do Haba and Nero want to get in on the search action?
Yeah,
All right.
we'll do it. Can we give each other advantage?
You can give one of yourselves advantage.
Let's give Haba advantage.
Oh my god.
Okay,
Didn't
Haba does
matter,
good.
but
Haba
like,
does
let's
good.
go. I'm great
Yeah,
at this.
is this kind of like everyone sort of splits up? Yelena and Estella are checking in the same area, and they keep seeing each other down the same row of books, and then going, "Oh, you're gonna go that way? Okay, I'm gonna go this way." And then they end up going in the same direction again. They keep seeing each other.
No, my right.
Yeah, no, not
You
this way,
mean
no, that way.
you mean this right? So you're left. Wait,
Hmm.
what?
Rain and Bottle kind of wander off, but then Haba and Nero do the patient thing, which is just they stand there and they just kind of watch for a minute. And then partway through, Nero taps Haba on the shoulder, and they both sort of like their eyes train over into the top right corner of the library, where you can see a pair of young children holding each other's hands, reaching for a book on a shelf that's just slightly too tall for them to get to.
Would you like some help?
You see them kind of stop, and they turn around and see you down below, and then they both kind of nod.
Hello. We're gonna go help him.
Okay. So after a brief moment, you both go to the far side, jog up the stairs, and go over into the corner. There's a moment where they recognize you as you're finally approaching. Muriel, she has come a bit more out of her shell since the last time you've seen her, but she's still a pretty shy girl. So when you get there, you can see her kind of shrink inward on herself a tiny bit. But Patty doesn't. And Patty just kind of smiles when she sees you. Hello. We would like that book. And she's pointing at it. It's way too tall for them possibly to reach.
Are we all there, or is it just Haba and Nero?
Yeah, it would be pretty obvious once like Haba and Nero kind of started making the beeline.
Yeah.
You would all just kind of notice them.
Yeah, we'd usher for you guys to come out.
Yeah, sure. This one right here. She is the 6'5" in this party.
Yes, please.
Is she 6'5"? Did they make her taller?
I don't know.
No, she's 6'5". She grabs the book easily and she says, "Here you go."
Thank you.
Can I ask you guys a question?
Yes.
Do you guys remember Hatner?
They both have a moment where they look at each other, and then they both look at you, and then they both nod.
Well, tell me, if Hatner, what was the question we were asking? Like where he is or what he can do, right? That's what the questions were?
I think generally we wanted to try and see if they knew a place that, like, he would go to hide or to be that he wouldn't tell adults about, that only they know, basically.
Yeah, she crouches down to get to their level to make them more comfortable.
Mhm.
And she says, "Do you girls know where Hatner could possibly be? Like a super secret place that only you guys would know?"
Patty has a moment where she was about to open her mouth, and she stops and she looks at Muriel. And Muriel kind of like does a slow shake of her head, like, "No, don't say it." Make a persuasion check, Estella.
I would
Okay.
add on, kind of trying to aid a little bit and say, we're trying to help him like we've helped you.
Okay. Estella, you have advantage.
Advantage. Haha. 24. I needed it.
Oh boy, not even close. Okay. Yeah, like I said, you have the moment where Muriel's just like, no, don't trust the adults. But then there's wisdom in what Yelena said, to bolster Estella's words. And Patty just has a moment where she's clutching the book in one arm and she sort of stops and she turns and hands it to Muriel, and she just looks at it and goes, oh, it's okay, Mir. They're gonna help us. They have been helping us. They're good people. We want them to help Hapner, right? And Muriel slowly shakes her head. Okay. I'll do the talking. Okay. We've never told anyone this. You have to promise you'll never tell anyone else.
I promise. She puts her hand up with the pinky out. Pinky promise. Just between us.
Okay. And she very, very like brazenly just like swoops in and grabs your pinky with her pinky. And then she leans in. Okay. Hatner has a lot of places he likes to hide. But he has one place that he has been building for other children like Muriel to go to. It's in the 9th district. It's in a back room of one of the casinos. But it's underground. There's a tunnel you have to use that you gain access to through the sewers.
Okay. That will help us help Hatner. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, I should warn you. He doesn't like people that don't belong there, so there are a lot of traps on the way.
She stifles a giggle. She's like, yes, I think that's the right thing to do. You got to keep everyone safe. Mm-hmm. Everyone who's not supposed to be there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Do you remember any specific ones?
Yes, because I kind of have to dance like a ballerina to avoid most of them. There are a lot of wires. Except, so there are wires really low to the ground, which are really easy for us to step over. But then there are wires that are a lot taller, that are meant for people that are not small like us. Mm-hmm.
It's good to know. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, girls. Go ahead and get back to reading time, okay?
Okay. Do you want to stay for reading time? We picked this book.
That's so adorable.
It's The Heart in the Phoenix. I don't know what it's about, but the cover is really pretty, and she holds it up. It is very pretty. It's like red orange leather bound, and it's got this really pretty embossed gold phoenix that has a heart in the middle of it with a ruby stud in the middle. Very pretty.
Ooh. Estella looks at them and smiles and says, how about you memorize it, and then I'll be back so you can tell it to me. Sound good?
She frowns for a moment. I don't know if I can do that, but I'll try.
Don't worry. I'll help you along the way when I come back, okay?
Okay. Pinky promise?
Pinky promise. She does it again. As Yelena says, the blood pact has been sealed.
If you break the pact, now you die.
Oh, it's true. I'm coming back. I'm a teacher that whole book.
You better come back.
Oh, I will.
Otherwise, she's going to be so upset later.
Unless Hatner's traps are just that good.
You're going to find out.
Oh, man. Obviously, Yelena and the boys were there, so they heard what I heard, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, go ahead.
She was just going to say we should tell Core.
Yep.
Speaking of Core,
head back.
What was Core up to this whole time?
Core was waiting for someone to show up.
Touche.
He did not snoop around. He just literally sat and waited. Didn't even go for the bottle.
Okay. Well, after a little bit of time, about 15 minutes or so. Pardon me. Rain is actually the one to return. Kid. Your friends have their information. If you're done resting.
Can we just talk for a second on the side?
I mean, I got kids to tend to, but yeah, I can spare you. I can spare a minute.
I just need a few.
She steps in and closes the door behind her.
Core just kind of like looks. He keeps his composure, but he's just like looks like he's just like the stress is kind of getting to him, and whatever he's just been kind of holding in just kind of comes out a little bit here. And he just takes a deep breath and he just says, "The straw man.
Mm-hmm.
I knew him. I knew what they took someone I knew, and they mangled him up and stuffed him with straw."
It certainly makes this a lot more personal.
Look, it's one thing after another, and a lot of things are just coming up all at once here. I gotta help these kids, but I'm having trouble keeping it together.
Well,
I don't know what I'm gonna do.
no, most people don't in positions like yours. But you have to ask yourself the question, when you're staring down this very difficult situation you find yourself in, if you lose your shit, what is likely to happen?
If I lose my shit, people are going to die. People are going to die again.
Okay. Is it worth losing your shit then?
I don't think it's a matter of whether or not it's worth it or not. It's whether or not I've got the ability to keep it in or not. This is why we're talking.
I know.
I'm not going to do it in front of them.
No, it's fine.
I don't know them, and
Well, you don't know me yet.
Maybe it's because you're a halfling.
Hmm.
I don't even know. I don't even know what we are.
Well, siblings, make it easier on yourself. Put it this way. You're carrying a big load of crap. No one wants to carry that load of crap, but you have to. And you're either going to be crushed by it, and people are going to die, or you're going to stare at each step directly in front of you and try to take each one as they come. Let's be honest. Saving these kids is pretty important. Keeping these kids safe is pretty important. And whether you like it or not, you have other people that think like you. And I'm sure it's not easy on them either. And that burden can be a little bit lighter if you stick with them.
I don't want anyone to end up like Darnell. That was his name. Just dumped on a heat after being chopped up on the street. This mangled thing, screeching, the sound that thing made. Just to end up a pile of parts and to just be the, the look Quill gave him. The look Quill gave him when I told him he was filth. Just this look of what? Disgust. Like he's beneath him. He doesn't know anything about him.
It's that matter is complicated. Fortunately, Quill's very black and white. But most of us are pretty gray. The loss of life is never good. Regardless of what they chose to do with their life. Unless they were terrible beings doing terrible deeds, no one deserves to go out like that.
Even if he was, even if his rotten pop said that you shouldn't kill someone, because that'll come back on you.
Mm.
It doesn't matter if they were good or they're rotten. I don't exactly agree with that, but I know this game. I'm scared, Rain.
You have a right to be.
A couple years ago, I was one of these kids.
Hmm?
And I'm barely keeping up with this 14-year-old.
Oh. You didn't have us.
I didn't have anyone. No, I had people. They're not alive, around. I feel insecure.
Hmm?
I don't even know if I can trust the people I'm working with, except for maybe the Numbskull brothers.
Are we in earshot of that?
No.
Okay.
You guys are in a different part of the orphanage.
Okay.
Let's not rely on your own abilities for a second. Rely on the judgment of a man whose heart is so large that if he could, he would save everybody. Who does not gather bad people around him. If Pops could reliably call on any of them to do him a favor, especially if it means saving kids, I think for the time being, you use that trust of his to prop up yours until you can build your own.
They're not showing me otherwise. I just... Look, maybe I suck, but I don't want to stick my neck out just to be
the straw
left
man?
for dead. I don't even really think I care if I die at this point. I just don't want to. I just don't want to go out like a chump.
Then don't go out like a chump. Everyone's got a choice. You will either choose to go out like a chump, or you won't.
I don't think that's true.
If you find yourself staring at the end of your life, standing in front of some nasty, gnarled hag, and no one is there to see you stand up in defiance and go down swinging, you still a chump? Or are you in that moment just going to lie down and let it happen?
I'm not gonna lie down and let anything happen. But
So what is it that would make you a chump?
I don't know. I guess it's just dying for nothing. It amounting to nothing.
Saving children is not nothing. Not having your name sung about doesn't make you a good person. It isn't what makes heroes. People might not talk about the benevolent man named Pops in the future based off of how many children he saved. But the children he saved will speak his name for the rest of their lives. You have to ask yourself what you want. What is the most important thing to you, Cor? You want notoriety and fame for your deeds, well, then you're here doing the wrong work. It's like you said yourself. If we didn't care about these kids, no one else would. Because no one else is looking.
Why would I want fame? Discretion's my policy. I think we talked enough. They're probably going to be coming anytime soon, and I got to meet with someone. I didn't know. I didn't know. Him particularly well, but he helped me, and someone else knew him, and if this thing tore him limb from limb, someone else I know might be in danger. And look, I know these kids are really important here, but if he knew something and he died for it, I need to know what.
That requires you to go back out there and find out.
I guess.
Otherwise, you'll never know.
This is what I needed, I guess. This is what I was asking for.
For now. If you need another pep talk, feel free to stop by again. You know, for what it's worth, Muriel asked about you.
Mm-hmm.
She wants to know that you're still safe. She's worried about you being out there with a straw man. At the very least, I think you should maybe pop your head in just so she can see you.
Alright.
I think she'd like that.
Well, I'll wait for the rest of them to show up, and better than me wandering around here. I wouldn't want people to think I'm up to something.
Kind of almost on cue, the door creaks open. And standing out in the hallway is the remainder of the party. I guess we took a little too time chit-chatting, Cor. Here's everybody else.
So, how'd it go?
We got what we needed.
I need I got told that one of the kids wanted to see me. They're back the way you came, right?
Library. If you hurry, you might make it before story time starts.
Oh boy. What's the story?
They did end up picking Patty and Muriel's book. So The Heart and the Phoenix.
The Heart and the Phoenix.
One of those is a pretty word that I don't know what it is.
Anyone's free to make a religion or history check if they'd like.
I will attempt. You said history, religion?
Sure, I'll roll
Yeah.
religion.
Like I said, religion or history, whatever your flavor.
I'm not good at any of these.
1, 2, 3.
Might be an odd question. Do I have to roll? One of my items is literally a Phoenix pendant.
Yeah, because it'll provide more context on the book.
History or religion? Same thing.
So neither Cora nor Yelena know a whole lot about the book. Cora's already self-established; she doesn't know what a phoenix is.
I was gonna
Yelena.
make the joke.
Oh, well, either way.
So I was gonna make the joke. It's like, oh, it's heart. If I had gotten the joke. Anyway,
Yelena, you do. If only because you come from a place where the mythos of the phoenix is actually much more prevalent. In Kartor, there's quite a lot of tales about the phoenix and its symbolism for rebirth and resurrection. It has a lot to do with the worship of the father down there as well. If anything, the figure is almost synonymous with the father, in that the ideologies of Kartor for their worship is very different from the ideologies of a lot of the worship of the father here in Rune. But yeah, so I mean, you know, the phoenix it's one of those oddities in the whole scheme of primordial elemental beings, which are predominantly regarded as, you know, the old enemies of mortals. But there were a handful of elder elementals that existed for a sole purpose, and they were not repurposed for war. The phoenix was one. As for the book, Estella, you're not overly familiar with it, but you've heard of it before. It is actually a series of books, and it is a series of books. It's on the same level for like a real life comparison to like the Iliad. It's an epic written by a elvish author some tens of thousands of years ago, or at least that's reportedly what it said.
Damn. That's
So like,
pretty good.
yeah, for kids to be reading it, like it's going to take someone reading it to really keep the kids engaged on it.
Yeah.
You picked
The
the promise.
informal.
You did pick, you probably.
You're gonna go over that entire book with them.
I sure did. Here we go.
I want the child to start telling you the Iliad from memory now. Yeah, so Cora's gonna...
but she will in due time.
Goodness gracious. Well, you know what? You can't take keen lines, so neener.
Look, I already made the blood pact. It's happening.
Oh no. Of course, gonna speed up to see Muriel real quick.
Okay. Rain will take you to the library, where she quietly opens the door. She listens. And then after a moment, she'll lead you into the center lane of the library, where you see on the far side there's a gathering of about 12 kids, all relatively young. The large orcish man sitting in the child-sized stool. And in his hands, he has opened up this red-orange leather-bound book with a gold-embossed phoenix on the front. And you hear him kind of reading the first passage, which is just in a land set in a very long time ago, and just kind of, you know, meanders on from there. And there's just a very brief moment where you see Patty and Muriel off to the side, sitting side by side with each other. And Patty just is enraptured because she picked this book and she doesn't care what he's reading. It's her book, so she's interested. And she's got a pinky promise to uphold. But there's a moment where Muriel is likewise engaged, but there's just a brief moment where she turns and she sees you. And this somewhat, I think morose is slightly too strong of a word, but this, you know, slightly more restrained young girl, her features brighten up a bit. And still with her hand kind of tucked underneath herself, she kind of waves at you with a bit more enthusiasm than would have been expected from her. Happy to see you.
Cora approaches quickly, quietly, and says, "How's it going, champ?"
I'm doing well. They're nice here.
Yeah, I know they are. Sorry about that. I had to take care of a few things here. So, you know, my buddies, they they had to do, they had to go find you. But I got told that you wanted to see me, so I thought I'd stop in before, we went on our way. We're gonna go find Hatner. And don't you worry about that straw man. He's a chump.
Mhm. And she just she nods. Her eyes are she's not making a ton of eye contact. She's making some occasionally, but mostly keeping it downcast. And there's just kind of a moment where she reaches her bald hand up to you, like she's trying to give you something.
Cora will lean in.
Okay. She will open her hand and drop something from it.
He'll catch it.
Which you can easily catch. And inside, you see it's on a plain, like, brass chain. It looks like a clay version of the sun symbols that were above Patty's bed. That were the warding pendants from the temple to keep them safe. It looks like she made you one.
I'll keep it in plain sight. Anyway. Do you enjoy the story?
Not the bunch.
I think this is supposed to be a pretty good one. Can't wait for Estella to read it to you. He looks very amused about this, and then he's just gonna wave and then head out.
Mm-hmm. Especially,
You're a rat.
Yeah, especially when you get to the part where the orc is just like, "In the captain's journal on the 72nd day of the 1243rd year for the ruination, read," and you're just like, "Oh boy, it's one of those."
Cora's just like, "Oh man, this book blows."
Hey, it's not like Bottle can help it. They voted and wanted this book. The party got to witness that, where he's just like, "Are you all sure?" And they were just like, after a while, it was like only like 2 or 3 of them, and then all of them eventually came over to their side, and they were just like, "Yes." He's like, "All right."
It's like that story of that kid who like somebody posted like that. When I was like 11, I had the choice of either going to like the zoo or to going to the ceiling fan store. Guess which one I chose? And it's just pictures of the kid at the ceiling fan store.
I mean, look how pretty the cover is. It must be a good story.
Yep.
I mean, it is. It's just long and complicated.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Anyway.
Is this going to be our stopping point for today, or are we going to go a little past this?
We either get you outside the orphanage, or we can stop right there. Up to you guys.
I need to run to the restroom real quick, regardless, so I'm down for whatever.
Right. Well, technically, there are 10 minutes left in the session, so it's up to you.
I don't think we're going to do this scene with Candace
No.
in 10 minutes, so
Yeah.
I think maybe here's a good stopping point. Be right back.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, Cora's called the end of the session.
Wow.
So I guess that means thanks for playing, everybody.
Thank you for running.
Of course, more than happy to.
Thanks for running.
Am I forgetting anything that I need to go over?
I don't think so. I mean, we still just got to do the stuff at the end of the session with like XP tracking.
Yeah, I mean, except we get 10 extra minutes, so we can do that on stream. I don't mind. Let people see how the system works. So, like I said, while Cora's not here, talk. What's good? What kind of things do you think you did today?
Well, I made some breakfast.
Not in your real life, your fake life. Come on.
I think we can definitely probably check off a goal for having discovered where, this secret children paradise is.
Yeah. That's a weird way of putting that entire sentence, but yes.
I could words, I promise.
Could we put a discovery for trying to get this dwarf's remains back to his family? That seems very side quest appropriate, as you described it.
When it happens. So, like, next week.
Okay.
Given that that's exactly what Core was talking about. That handoff message to summon somebody was that's what that was doing. For the life of me, I suddenly can't edit anything. That's very fresh. Roll 20, why you do this? I'm gonna refresh my page. Meanwhile, so yeah, I'm okay with a goal for the discovery of the underground kids clubhouse where no adults are allowed. By apparently by punishment of death.
Mm-hmm.
Like, actually.
Part of me almost feels like a discovery is almost needed for Estella's hijinks of getting pretty much everyone in this carriage business to be hoping that she can help them out.
I mean, that is very funny. It could, yeah, like I said, it's kind of a developing thing. For those of you wondering as to why maybe Sam is so quiet, is because Discord decided not to like Sam, and then continued to hate Sam by not letting Sam reconnect. So that's why Stella has left us so abruptly.
Damn.
I mean, yeah, we've got some weird side carriage shenanigans going on. That's going to come to a head eventually. Count that now or later? Still think I'm going to sit on that one.
That's fair.
I do think there was definitely a bond to be mentioned. The carriage ride had some, at the very least, a little bit of background for everybody.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think just kind of in general character interactions this session were a bit more in-depth.
Mm-hmm.
I know specifically Yelena promising Estelle to help out if she ever wants to do anything about the slavers.
Yeah, with her chicken chip fortune.
Yes, discovery of the chicken chips are the real currency of this entire city.
Yeah, that was a weird segue. I didn't expect the session to take, but here we are. The real currency of the world, chicken chips. Also, the fact that chicken chips are readily available and sold in bags in the States is amazing. It's been a while since I've been there, quarantine and all that. In Canada, man,
Yeah.
How I Met Your Mother, the show nailed it when they were so right. Like, Canada is roughly 5 to 10 years behind the States in everything, including like fashion and food trends. And so, like, I'm only now starting to see a lot of things that were like really trendy a couple of years ago in terms of like food products, like showing up at Costco and things like that. And so now I have to wait another 5 years before chicken chips are readily available, and I'm very upset.
It's a mood. I hate going on Netflix because, like, one of my friends tells me, "Oh, this is on Netflix now," and I go on, and it's like, "No, it's not."
No,
for
it's
me.
not. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I have to use a VPN if I want to watch that stuff.
Now
On
we're
the
now
flip side,
sponsored
we
by
have The
NordVPN,
Office.
guys.
That's true. Before we tangent too far into that oddity. Anything else experience-wise before we get too distracted?
Don't think we had any setbacks this session. We were pretty successful in everything we did.
That's good enough for now. Like I said, We don't ever have to set all these in stone right after the session. It can be done over the course of the week if anyone can remember to do it over the course of the week.
Yeah. Other bond I could maybe think about would be, Cor and Rain's talk at the end there.
Mm-hmm. That was the thing. Very dramatic soap opera-esque. All we needed was someone to bust in the door and go, "Porqué," and cut to black. Otherwise, I'm pretty happy with those for now. Like I said, any further things can be brought up.
And we just leveled up. We don't need to rush into things.
Yeah, exactly. But like I said, you'd be surprised. Sometimes you guys just happen to fall headlong and stuff, and level ups happen, and that's also okay. It's actually the reason why I like this system, because the players can kind of set their own pace. So if you guys purposely, if you guys keep it on the lower end of like 3, like somewhere on the average of 3 for a lot of your categories, you can level up a little quicker, which is fine. And that's because the progress for you to get to certain milestones would be that much quicker, and it just sort of affects the narrative of the campaign. It's, it typically sets the theme of people having to get better in order to survive a very dangerous and difficult situation, versus, people going through the long-term growth process of self-discovery over, months upon months, right?
Okay, I'm back.
Welcome back. We're finished.
Sorry about that. Oh no, I missed the entire campaign.
It's
Are
over.
we still on? Are we still on stream?
Yes. I was about to do the cutaway.
Sure.
Which I might as well, since we're here. So as I said earlier, thanks for watching to you guys here. Thanks for playing. It's always a pleasure running for you. We had a couple of new viewers today, which was super cool, as I mentioned. Shout out to Patty, who is running their game somewhere in the ether. Hopefully it's going well. As my lovely mod has mentioned, the next game I'm running on the channel is Friday at 7:30 PST for the Convergence campaign, level 14. Actually, a really good episode to tune in on, because we're having a huge one-on-one duel between the Barbarian and a warrior culture who rank themselves from the strongest members are ranked from 1 to 100, with 1 being a literal god. So yeah, they're fighting 15. Should be interesting.
Jeez.
Yeah. So if you got free time on Friday, you come check it out. It's gonna be great. Otherwise, that's it for us. We will. Well, I'll probably see you tomorrow, because I'll be playing in my game over on Crack DM. So check that out. Otherwise, thanks for tuning in, and hope you guys have a great day. And as always, and usually unlike this party, make good choices.